Tlph covering up. Keyboy gets one. That's a lot of damage dropping in. Blazing the wet SOD thrown out. A lot of damage from Onyx ID. But Onyx PH are so chunky. Kelra takes down Tlph. Few more stray bullets hitting Sans. No one is able to commit to the turtle just yet. Onyx ID just suffered one loss.
Yeah, good engage coming in from Onyx ID, but just not enough damage here. And Kurt really making it difficult for them to go in because that return damage is so strong. But now Onyx ID is fast through the trigger. Kai was able to go back base, recover, and now they want to go for the turtle.
Here comes King Kong! Does not get the retribution. The wall between him and the major objective. Onyx ID scores one. Kyrie blasting away Brusco, the enforcer, setting up a defensive barrier. Does not allow Onyx ID to push on forward. The Porcupine from Indonesia able to score.
And we can definitely see Kyrie is trying to balance out aggression as well as being careful, because having Brusco on this show, you don't want to underestimate him, because the moment you want to overcommit, you might get kicked. So this is good coming in from Kyrie. Try to see how much damage you're able to deal without getting caught.
Put that on a t-shirt. Overcommit, get kicked. And Onyx ID know that they could do the same. But it takes a two-step process, Lafel. Sans needs to be able to see Brusco first. Sans needs to be able to see Kirk first. At that point, who do you prioritize?
I don't know, man, because at this point, I'm even thinking, what is Onyx ID waiting for? Are they waiting for Severo? Are they waiting for Sans? Are they waiting for an amazing engage by Keyboy or Tlph? Because at this time, it looks like they're buying time. The question is, buying for what?
That's a big question, because even I'm confused. 6 minutes in, we haven't seen Sans pick up a big ticket ult. Like, what is the Gila one doing? Arrow hits Tlph here. Onyx PH playing footsies, engages, but only for a second. Does get the ult on Super Prince of Selena's transformation. Kyrie hitting Kelra here for just a bit, pushes a wave up.
And this is why we see the Fanny hasn't been picked up too much. The energy is I would say it's such a big nerf, sure. Increase in damage so you can kill people easier, but that energy, the elusiveness is really what made Fanny who she is. Arrow not going to be hitting onto Tlph or Sans. Looks like the turtle is coming up 20 seconds later, and now on Philippines engages.
And they find Sans, forcing him to hit the Primal Wrath, but defensively, Tlph using the Vitalize, putting a wall between him and his mid laner. Does AOG back. Double defensive ult spent by Onyx ID all this while. Top lane was getting worked on. Kyrie takes down that turret with the help of Keyboy.
We were talking about how both teams are mechanically gifted. Maybe they go for a lot of team fights, but look here, Leo, 7 minutes in and only 3-0. So both teams are really trying to play this macro game. And now to find a turtle here, Kyrie, can he do something? Keyboy coming from the back.
Finds that angle, gets with the Tsunami Slam, takes down Super Prince, serves it up to Tlph, and that's a 4v3 here in the mid. Kyrie gets caught out. Cables on through, does not allow himself to get taken down. Blazing the wet by Kelra. Finds Sans in the back line. Tlph as well. 3 go down for Onyx Philippines and trade-in for Prince and the Turtle.
Everything looks good for Onyx Indonesia, but then the moment Kelra came in, it was done. The team fight is over. But at least right now, Onyx ID, they traded up, making sure that Severo at least gets something for the team. But still, 2,000 goal lead here coming in from Onyx Philippines. We're going to be looking at a replay. It was a good engage coming in from Keyboy. And as we see, it's just not enough consistent damage coming in from Onyx ID because Sans was so far away, he could not deal the damage. The moment he came in, Kelra comes in, and it just does a lot of damage.
I'll tell you, Lavelle, I did not see Kelra come in. I knew he was in the bottom lane. I didn't know he was going to make it in time, and it was just picture perfect. If he came in a second too late, Onyx ID would have gotten out of there, and there would have been no punish for Onyx. We would have seen a very different ending for the economy. But right now, the Super Fam are up, and the map looks like it belongs to them, and this is very tough for a Fanny. Even if you do have macro control, that means you're not lethal. That means you're not proactive.
And you know what? Lore accurate. Claude is a thief, and that's what you do. You make sure you come in. No one sees you go in. No one sees you go out. Everything is clean. But yeah, I agree with you. Right now, there's a lot of lockdown. So even Kyrie trying to split where is going to be very, very difficult. Even just going up against Kurt, you don't even have enough damage to kill him. And if he catches you, you're dead. You're donezo. Or you just have to leave.
Yep, look at this. Kirk playing man-to-man defense against Kyrie. An arrow catches one. Tlph, will he survive? The answer is no. The way of the dragon and everything. But the kitchen sink thrown at him. That's his 4th death here, 9 minutes in.
Thank you, member of Onyx Indonesia, but 1 against 4, there's nothing much that you can do as of right now. Onyx ID, they're struggling to actually dish out the damage. So I really feel like that's the biggest problem, especially when you have a Fanny in your composition, is that if you don't do well the first 6 minutes, you're forced to play macro. You're forced to wait for the late game and then just wait for your opponents to misposition. Let the Fanny get a crucial target, either Super Prince or Kelra, and then hope Severo gets everything else.
And you mentioned the energy conundrum. The fact that you have to deal with so many things on the map wave-wise, and then you're also thinking, how can I punish, how can I fight? That's on you, the energy, and they find a kick, suddenly the flicker, and the way of the dragon, compromising Tlph and Kyrie. That's 2 down. Onyx Philippines have the man advantage. Onyx ID, check in range. They can't steal this Lord. Brusco at 1 HP, looking for more. Looking for the knock-up on Sans and Keyboy. They're lucky to even be alive. Severo this whole time, buying time in the bottom lane. But Super Prince so easy to answer. Onyx ID, they get nothing.
Because in that fight, Brusco was the decisive one. He went in, went for the kick, as we saw Keyboy using the conceal, trying to get into position, but again, a little bit too late. We see the hesitation coming in from Keyboy, and I don't blame him, man. If I was a roamer in this situation, I'm going to catch someone, but can you kill? I think you can. So this is a big problem coming in from Onyx Indonesia. They don't have the momentum. They don't have the damage. They have nothing. Onyx Philippines, almost 5,000 gold ahead.
Contrary to the narrative set prior to the match starting, this feels like a familiar match. This feels like a match set at home in the backyard because they are Onyx versus Onyx. But no, this is the cleanest we've ever seen Onyx Philippines. This is the form we've seen them when they won in Season 14. A purple buff attempt here. Not going to happen. Kyrie secures, but they do find Sans, and this doesn't happen. Tlph, you know this doesn't happen. Sans at 0-2-0.
Dude, this is such a rare sight, and now Onyx Philippines, they're sieging the mid turret. As of right now, only 1 Tier 2 turret is still available up top, and they go for Severo.
Tsunami Slam, serving up 1. Kelra survives. How did he do that? Purify plus BMI. Onyx ID can't catch a break, even underneath Tier 1. They're gonna lose Tlph. Kirk gets a kill.
Kirk just stood still, dealt the damage, and asked a question. What you gonna do about it? I'm not moving. You do something. It looks like they're just dead. Right now, Onyx Philippines has total control of the map. Looking at the items here as well, big difference in terms of the goal lane here, 9,700 against 8,100. So even if you're trying to hope for Severo to make a play, he doesn't have the resources just yet. I'm pretty sure he wants that Malefic gun, but still looking for that gold.
Onyx ID, fortunate to have used their Holy Shields to maximum efficiency. We just hit the 12-minute mark, folks, and that is when the Holy Shields get popped naturally. So that means by keeping all of their inhibitors, they're able to somehow plan for a post-late game comeback. But the question still stands. Tlph, you posted it about 5 minutes ago. What are they waiting for?
Because if we're looking at the itemization here, looking at the Valentina, oh, hold on, looks like they want to engage onto Onyx ID.
And they do find a lot. Sans put down a fifth of his health, forced to use the Primal Wrath here. AOG defensively used. Keyboy gets taken down amongst the weight of the whole Super Fam. A free pickoff. And now Onyx ID are forced to defend. Oh, look at this. The Blazing Duet used to engage, forcing Sans back. Tlph looking for a taunt. The Unbreakable not going to find the gold standard. King Kong putting up a wall between him and the push. Finally, down goes the inhibitor. Not enough damage coming from Severo. Onyx PH back off happy with the siege.
Onyx PH has just been punishing the front lines. Whoever they catch, Tlph, Keyboy, they're going to take them down. Sans, if they're lucky. Severo now having the Malefic gun, he has 4 items. There is potential for them to do something here. But again, the front lines are not able to set anything up.
Oh.
The Lord's quarter health here looks like they're going to reset it.
Onyx Philippines respecting the Indonesians' attempt. They know that through Sans and Tlph alone, suddenly things could go sideways based on what Sans has stolen. But again, he can't even get in range. And that's a free Lord for Onyx PH. They're going to roll up into the side lanes and simulate an end-game push, because this could be it, Tlph.
Yeah, honestly, looking at the items coming in from Sans using this Valentina is going more for damage. Having the Lightning Truncheon as well as the glowing staff and having the arcane boots for more penetration, you would assume that there's going to be more damage. But the fact that he completed it too late, everyone has magic resist at this point.
Here we are, Lord, marching up to mid. Kyrie cutting that top lane. Brrr, yeah, blazing the wet by Kelra. Starting it up because Onyx ID are looking for the smoke. Kyrie looking for Kelra. Does find him. So does the SOD, but there's a lot of chunky bodies keeping the gold standard guard. And they're gonna at least protect that bottom lane and top lane. Onyx ID doing pretty well for the situation.
Ooh, no! The pause came in during the conceal.
Okay, we can count our blessings and at least say it didn't happen during the engagement.
Yeah.
It happened pre-engagement, and I'm pretty sure given our new time break feature,
oh yeah,
we can fix this. So whatever's ailing our in-game situation, I'm pretty sure this is something that is reparable.
Yeah, I like King Kong's reaction as well. As like, bro, we're about to smoke you. Just
Come
let
on.
it happen, right? But anyways, we can see here, I like that this narrative, Onyx versus Onyx, third place match, they're giving it their all. Onyx Philippines, if they can stomp Onyx ID, they'll do that, right? So I kind of feel like Onyx ID, they also got to rethink what's going to happen in game number 2 because this is a very risky draft that they drafted for themselves, and it just didn't work out.
But Tlph, imagine the plot twist if some way, somehow, Onyx PH don't win this.
Hey.
What if some way, somehow, ID are able to pull something out? I don't even know what it is. I don't even know where to start to try and weave that tale, but what if they do?
Talk about Dr. Sulaiman Al-Habib hot take. Now, that's a pretty big hot take. If Onyx ID could do it, damn. How? But yeah, now we're resuming back into the game here. Looks like still a successful defense coming in from Onyx ID. The waves are still far away, so Onyx Philippines, they have to reset. But still, 8,000 goal lead, that's a big hurdle for Onyx ID.
It does come at the cost of a third of the chunk of the top lane inhibitor, so I guess Onyx PH got something there, you know, an investment into the top lane push, especially given Lord will be spawning in the lower quarter in a minute and a half. I just checked the items and the gold gain. Here we go, one more look. You see what I'm seeing, Tlph? 5,000 gold between Kirk and Tlph.
Oh my goodness, man. And
That's a carry Edith if I've ever seen one.
yeah, start him Tlph as well. No wonder he can do a lot of damage and he can stand up front. And this is also a problem. Keyboy, who is he going to catch? Right? Logically, gonna get Kelra. But hey, in a few seconds, he's going to have that Purify.
Super Prince is the best target. He's done it once this game. Now the siege continues. AOG by Tlph right underneath here. 3 down bottom. Brusco's very low, forced to use that winner crown. BJ Brusco Paro gets taken down. The trade, though. Oh, my Lord. Nothing for Onyx PH. The shutdown on the Kirk. SOD by Savero. Tlph, this is what we were saying. What if some way, somehow, Onyx are able to dig deep? And I'm talking about Onyx ID.
What we were saying, what you were saying, if you called it and it does happen,
Caster Curse.
cast a curse. Or we're just too good at our jobs. But either ways, like I said, it's not over yet. 16 minutes in. In about, what, 3 minutes, the goal won't matter anymore. At that point, everyone has their core items. Onyx ID looking at the mid lane here, trying to secure this mid turret. Kyrie goes in. Can he get something? He gets stunned up. He gets stunned up again.
That's a half-second arrow. Super Prince throwed out just to stop Kyrie from getting the Kelra. And you see this, a single moment of weakness, a vulnerability, wherein they lack 2 of their key members. Onyx PH suddenly lose the whole mid lane.
With the amount of damage Savero has done, I'm surprised he has no kills. I'm also surprised he has no deaths. So far, Savero is having an amazing Moskov game. If Onyx ID came back, hey, Savero stocks goes up top.
And that's exactly what Onyx PH failed to do in the early to mid. They did not apply any pressure to the gold lane. This is what we were talking about, the gold lane experience. Now the Lord, down to a 5th. Keyboy finds one, Tsunami Slam onto Brusco. He's put down to a 10th of his health. Tlph goes down, though, despite the revitalized. Yeah! Kelra serves up lucky on the Kirk, taking down Sans. Here comes Kyrie into the back line. Super Prince backing out. Brusco gets taken down by Savero. The spears in the face. Keyboy gets killed. A double kill for the Kirk attack. 3 for 1 the trade. Where's Savero going? Onyx PH don't want to take pursuit. Kyrie, though, deep behind enemy lines. King Kong and Kirk going for the pursuit, cutting the exit. Oh, he's low on energy, doesn't have a purple buff. Can King Kong do it?
Okay, looks like he's able to get away. King Kong trying to stop him, and looks like he's not able to. Oh, he stopped Kyrie, but still the cable saved him. But now the Lord. You saved yourself one time. The Lord comes in. Kyrie, Savero, Tlph, can you defend this? All members of Onyx Philippines except for Brusco and the Lord are marching in.
The siege, the possible end angle for Onyx PH. Tlph and Savero trying to clear. They're saving that top lane inhibitor. Keyboy might catch some smoke here. Arrow onto Tlph. Onyx PH refuses to engage. They're going to take this low. They're going to go the defensive, the disciplined route. Kyrie, oh no, unable to quell Onyx PH. A successful Grand Theft Purple for King Kong.
Let me just say, Leo, 4 to 5 months ago, this fanning would have been a big problem, but now looks like they're going in. King Kong got caught.
Oh no! The Spear of Misery puts him down to 0 health. Savero scores a kill. Could it be a trade for Tlph? AOG canceled out. Kirk in the middle of 5 members of Onyx ID. Sans gets another. 2 for none once more. Onyx ID pull it out from their heart of hearts.
What did you saw, Leo, that you predicted this? I thought the game would have been over 5 to 6 minutes ago.
I saw the clouds part, and I saw the Sky Kings. Onyx ID not gonna lay down and take this. Not so fast. Oh, beautiful placement. Savero has a killer instinct unlike any.
And at this point, Keyboard says, I don't care who. Front line, back line, mid line, anyone. I'm going to catch someone, because at this point, Sans and Savero has that damage. Looks like Blazing Duet use it, got kicked!
And they do get a kick. Sans falls. Kero already used the Blazing Duet. Arrow on the one. Tlph able to save Savero, block that projectile. Kyrie also protecting Keyboy now. The KK connection from Indonesia, keeping them at bay. And that Super Prince dashing through. Keyboy is gonna go down here. No way the Starboy survives. Kelra gets another 2 down for Onyx ID.
Oh no, Kyrie is stunned but still saved by his steel cables. I gotta tell you, someone give this Fanny some caffeine, because he has no energy, man. Every time dives in, there's nothing left. The tank is empty.
That has
Can't even hold.
That has been the risk of playing a Fanny. Again, you do get a mechanically unique and honestly broken hero if you're talking about map mobility, but if you can't make peace with the fact that your energy dictates what you're allowed to do, this is what happens. SOD with a dream, not gonna happen. Another Lord for Onyx. 0 for Onyx ID, by the way. I might be confusing, folks, but
yeah,
you get the picture.
Honestly, Fanny just proves you still need cardio. You need that standard. Now, Brusco is able to kick. Looks like Tlph still survives for now. And it looks like Onyx ID are in still good position. But again, they did this before. They got to do it again. The Lord is marching up mid. But at least the waves aren't sync. They only got to worry about 2 waves.
Oh, arrow thrown out. Savero catches it. Dasha Unite here. Coming through. Kirk with the Primal Wrath able to take down Savero. His first death in this whole 21-minute game. Triple kill for Kirk. Give him the Savage. There it is. The Kirk attack takes down all of the Sky Kings. Game 1 goes to the Super Fam.
We open up the 3rd place match with a Savage from the EXP.
The last time I saw that happen was Renzio out of Smart Omega, the former Kings of Sea, and now the Super Fam are doing it.
The last I saw that was back in MPLMY. Toda Forme is on a EXP Martis. EXP getting the Savage? Now that's rare.
So Martis.
This proves you still need cardio. Good position, but again, they did this before.
Dasha Unite here, coming through. Kirk with the Primal Wrath able to take down Savero. His first death in this whole 21-minute game. Triple kill for Kirk. Give him the Savage. There it is. The Kirk through. Kirk with the Primal Wrath able to take down Savero. His first death in this whole 21-minute game. Triple kill for Kirk. Give him the Savage. There it is. The Kirk
and gets a Savage. I will echo what Destroyer said behind the scenes. What is this game? I don't know anymore.
That's true. That's what happened behind the scenes. Actually, it was super interesting to see how Onyx Indonesia are trying to defend. they got chances, but you know, after the Savage, that's all.
I think I'm surprised, maybe some other people were too, that it went to this point in the game.
Oh,
but hey, it brings it to another Savage for MSC. And who would have thought, yeah, like it would have been an XP laner. But I guess this is what you get when you have an Edith rolling with the Warcry.
Now, as we see Onyx celebrate, well, I just gotta say, that went as much as we expected. When you pick up the Fanny third pick, you already see a Boxer on the other side. There's a Selena. Onyx PH even got to pick up Cho. So the difficulties of Onyx Indonesia here, they were expected. But they were able to hold on. Or was it more of an error from Onyx PH? Were they too eager to end it? Or did Onyx just have the right heroes to actually punish Onyx Philippines in the defense?
Onyx Philippines got the right heroes, and I would like to say you can't rely on Fanny anymore. Sorry guys, you can't blind pick it. It should be, you can potentially show it, but it depends. You need to adapt for the draft.
I think especially when the Boxer comes up first pick, probably don't want to go with the Fanny.
Yeah.
You know, like go with the, if you want to pick an assassin, go any other assassin. And I know a lot of people are, oh, it's Kyrie's Fanny. But you saw, like, he just got pretty much shut down the whole game. He didn't really have much space to work with, and that just happens to be the case. And any team knows that they're going to put pressure on his buff, and that's so. If you think about it, the fact that they were able to defend though a couple times and then turn it around, I think is great. But it was also just because, again, you have a Mozcov, you have a lineup that actually allows you to defend in your base pretty well, clearing things out. But you know, the inevitable is going to happen, and that's what we saw here.
Now we're going to be showing you, once again, another Savage for MSC from the EXP laner, the Edith. Having a hard time tracking where Kirk is. Oh, there he is, in the middle of it all. He was almost going to go down, but because he had full stacks Primal Wrath, it looks like that he was just able to sheer lifesteal himself back to good health and then be able to pull off the Savage that he did. So I'm gonna ask you, Destroyer, is that enough that now in that game number 1 we got a Savage who went 20 minutes? Are you happy that we're getting a show, or is it not the show that you're looking for just yet?
Chat.
Vikram found the perfect package in
Si X1 ini guys.
X1 ini lihat lakonnya ler.
Tadi kocak.
Babi.
Gua udah dapet lance padahal tuh hero pick favorit gua.
Hai, si X1 ini ada play dia guys.
Coba gantikan. Surrender kita. 1 menit lagi surrender.
Win.
10 juta bangsat, gua beli 500, gua udah top upin, win rate gua udah bagusin. 10 juta, jual rugi gua guys. Naik gak sih 15? 20.
Dulu Den, gua gak seru meta seru kocak. Ilmu nanti gua kasih ilmu dah.
Kasih tau Den, ilmu barat.
Ilmu super prince cara main gameplay gimana?
Asik.
Bagus ler.
Bantai-bantai doang, Cok. Bang Bulog kelar ke TLID ya. Gua gak tahu guys. Siapa tahu cuma ke Liga Arab dia.
Jangan dikasih tau Bang Bul.
Kenapa jadi tiba-tiba ke TLID
100
ya?
lepas anjing, 100 lepas bangsat. Reviewnya mana kan yang tadi? Gua nggak usah jual ini akun guys. Ini mau beli ya udah. Kita ngereng pakai akun ini aja guys.
Autoin kita guys.
Ini lu Bang Bulog.
Ya,
Lewat kalah dong gua lance lawan lu kan tolol. Kita menang kocak. Lah, apaan tuh Win?
100 lepas anjing, 100 lepas bangsat. Udah kayak jual top. Juta dari uang travel gua mana yang benar? PP dulu.
Gila kayak Kairi Den gua Den.
PP dulu nih di live. Sosial bus.
Apaan tuh? Naruto kenapa tuh? Karena Naruto
Search sama si Pikler anjing. Enggak mau gua.
Bang Bulu kasihan Bang Sin.
Udah gua enggak jual akun ini guys, yang akun yang gua beli aja ya. Ini gua enggak jual dah.
Emang iya Bang Sin potong titit kalau scalar pindah guys. Dia potong titit katanya.
Invite bro.
Roller pindah tim gitu.
Nyawa
Iya,
Bang
dia
Kiki
bilang
Bang.
potong.
When the world of business is constantly changing, you need to stay ahead. So what about AI to generate new possibilities? Machine learning to predict what customers will like. Or expand your business by forecasting delivery routes with real-time data. With the power of the cloud, imagine how AWS can transform your business.
We asked these two teams to give us a show, and game number 1 ended with the EXP laner Kirk from Onyx Philippines on an Edith getting a Savage. What can we expect? I honestly don't know anymore.
Hey, you know what? That's something that all XP laners now can look forward to, because for all the XP laners out there, I think MSC has been one of the showcases of just how good XP lane can be, how it's transformed from maybe one of the more calmer lanes, or, you know, very kind of stuck in one position.
Yeah, now you have a capability to pull off a Savage. Hey, if you want to feel like a Savage in game, go ahead and get the MSC 2025 pass. It's still available only until August 7th. A lot of exclusive items available for you, like the Nathan Archon of Knowledge skin, and the pass is 20% off from 899 diamonds to 719 diamonds during the duration of MSC. You also have the tournament avatar border, the battle emo, the returning skin Atlas, Rune Sentinel, the Joy Space Explorer MSC skins, and so many more rewards. So hop on in game and get your goodies there. Now, I think, based on what we saw from game number 1, with the fact that Onyx Indonesia is willing to play Fanny into what looks like a difficult lineup, I think we've just increased our chances of our wishes coming true, of some crazier picks coming out. We floated the idea of Gushin. We floated the idea of Johnson Odette. Chat is looking for what was it? Nana and Hanabi?
Nana.
Yeah. Like, come on, let's get crazy. I don't think we will, but a guy can hope.
Just at least one pick, one crazy pick.
Yeah, one crazy pick.
Just for us.
Yeah, just for us, just for one game. Like, we already see Kelra roll out onto the stage. By the way, we have to work on his form. He could have injured himself. Someone's got to teach Kelra how to do a proper roll.
I wonder if he just got, like, a dare to do that. Like,
yeah.
You know, dare you to roll out on stage, man.
Maybe we potentially got to see, like, the, what's it called? The inner thoughts?
The internal thoughts?
Yeah, the internal thoughts just win. Like, he just realized, I'm gonna do this.
Oh, intrusive thoughts.
Yeah, intrusive thoughts.
Like,
you know, like,
thoughts.
don't do it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I gotta do it.
That might be a good potential line of thinking for these two teams in the draft. Don't do it. Yes, and Onyx, despite them handling the Fanny so well in game number 1, still decide to ban it out and respect it.
Okay. Well, they'll ban that out. They'll respect it. You still Onyx. See, I'm getting mixed up now. Onyx PH was on the blue previously, right?
Yes, they were. Yes, they were.
Because I know even our casters in game are like, yes, you know, Onyx this, Onyx that. But Hey, if Onyx Philippines is going to be on the blue, that's fine. I think if Baksha's open, if they still go the Baksha, then they're sticking with like this standard jungle, but then they might change things up as the draft goes through.
Yeah.
You can see the Jushins taken out last here from their side for the first phase.
You know, to hear one of the funny things. Onyx Indonesia, yeah, what? Just check this. Drafts, I mean the positions, not gonna change. Because Onyx Indonesia nearly all the time prefer the second pick.
Yep.
That's the reason. And the last ban is Gatot-Kacha.
Taking away a Gatot means you're looking at the Cho, Kalea, Batangs, Bakshas to be the main things to fight for later on. As with that last ban from Onyx ID means Onyx PH gets free reign on the Yi Sun Shin. So maybe in terms of crazy picks, it might come now from the side of Onyx ID, because when you have an assassin in your jungle, it's tough to go kind of crazy with the selections. Maybe we'll see Keller get back on a Ruby Gold lane that we've seen it pop up before.
That's what I was going to say. Usually when you see the YSS pop up, that's sort of where you have to put the option.
Yep.
Is it going to be a shakeup in the gold lane? So far throughout MSC, we've seen the Ruby and the CC, but since the CC's taken over, there's the Ruby, as we were just talking about it. So that comes through, and next up is the Arlott. Now, the guy sitting next to me, Mr. Destroyer, doesn't feel too happy about the Arlott. I can see it in your face already.
Yeah, Mr. Destroyer is a certified Arlott hater for MSC.
Except for
Sanford.
Oh,
Yes,
okay,
yes.
okay.
That's the guy who can pick it, and I am okay with it.
Yeah, you got no problems. Wait, okay, real quick though, what do you feel about this Lancelot getting picked up by Onyx? Yes, it's an assassin, and it's one of the best assassins in this meta, but you already see a Ruby and Arlott on the other side. I feel like this Lancelot might actually have a hard time.
Might, but also you have Curtain Call and Tsunami Slam. There's a composition from the right side also. Never forget about it. So you can work on the Yushun Shin and try to focus it first.
All right. So it requires Kyrie to talk a lot to Keyboy and Tlph to make sure, okay, help set me up so that my Lancelot doesn't have a hard time. Second phase now, what could we potentially be looking at the bans here, Naisu?
Well, they're still going for some of the roam options. Where they took out the Miltilda. You can see they're going to focus on the gold lane for Onyx Philippines to take out some of those options over for Severo. And I don't know, this is the thing. It's like, I would say, would we consider the fact that even for Onyx Philippines, there's still some switch up that can happen here? Like, I'm thinking at this, like, the Arlott's there in the Ruby, but we don't know 100% where the Ruby's going. Like, if it is going to be parked in the gold lane, I think they're playing around that hand. You can see the Phoveus is banned out here. Last one might still be a gold laner, though.
Yeah. Okay, so Onyx ID are actually reading into your suggestion here, because if they're banning out Phoveus, that means they're still thinking of the potential switch up. Yeah, exactly. So this Ruby might go to the XP. The Arlott might actually end up going into the roam, as we've seen in the past. Although I think...
And the most crazy thing, Arlott go in the gold.
Yeah, or maybe we'll go crazy and we'll see Arlott in the gold lane. Who knows? So Onyx ID are now keeping that potential option open, while Onyx PH, I think they have to consider a mid lane ban here. There's still a really powerful Farsa pick available, even though you have Arlott on your side, but they are respecting the Ruby, which could have been problematic for Ruby and Arlott.
So you just take Farsa here since it's open, I would assume, for Onyx. I mean, it gives them enough damage that they've got really good play into the Kalea, and there it is. So the Farsa comes through. Immediately the answer, though, over from Onyx Philippines, the Kagura. Is this, are you happy with this? I mean, this is still a shakeup.
You know, I got a point. Actually, isn't it too dangerous to pick Farsha versus this setup? Just Mountain Shocker, I'm offended, Final Slash, like everything. A lot of initiation.
Yeah, that's true. That's like one of the trade-offs you have to consider picking up the Farsa. And then now it even demands more out of Keyboy and Tlph to make sure that, okay, you're setting up for your Lancelot, but now you also have to protect Sans.
Yeah,
look at the suspense. That's what about resources. When they took Lancelot with this composition, I'm okay. But you need to protect two targets right now. It's super hard.
I like how they held on to this. Where is the Ruby going? Is it going to be in the gold? Okay. All right. There's a Badang. So Ruby Gold.
Yeah, Ruby Gold, Arlott EXP, Badang in the roam. And this is, yeah, now it looks so tough for a Farsa. This looks like one of the toughest Farsa games we'll see all MSC long. Onyx, they need something stable. They go for a Claude under a lineup that has so many crowd control that can stop his initiation.
Oh.
Are we in agreement here? I feel like we're all in the same boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Onyx Philippines should be.
Yep, I'm in YSS's boat.
Yeah,
I'm in that boat.
yeah, you're in this turtle ship. Is
I'm
what
in a
it's
turtle
called.
ship.
I think that's 2 drafts in a row now where on paper it looks like it's just so tough for Onyx ID to make it work. While Onyx PH, yeah, a little bit unique, but at the same time, the idea is clear and there's a lot of capability for them to shine on their own roles. You don't have to rely too much on playing together as a team. Leo, Tlph, what do you guys think about the 2 drafts?
I think we're going to see a lot of fighting here. Heck, 3 fighters on 1 composition. I want to see Onyx Philippines pushing it through, but hey, Onyx Indonesia with a standard draft here. Maybe they could do something by pushing it all the way to the late game. Welcome, folks, to the second game of this 3rd place matchup. It's me, Tlph, and Leo calling this one.
Nothing is impossible given that in the first game of the series, an XP laner, nay, an Edith, with no Sky Piercer, mind you, scored a Savage. So who's to say what and what can happen here in Onyx versus Onyx?
Something I can say, though, this time is much different for this Tlph because, heck, now she has backup with a lot of damage and a lot of range. I kind of feel like that's the important part. I agree with the panel that it is a very difficult draft for this Farsa. But if you win by too much, it won't matter. So that's kind of the goal here coming in from Onyx Indonesia. Try to win enough so that even if something happens, they can't outplay you.
There's a lot of easy and quick damage coming through, but can that force themselves through the CC? Again, the sheer amount of crowd control that Onyx PH have on demand. Look at that XP lane matchup again, the Arlott against the CC, which I believe that Arlotts, the majority of Arlotts, save for Sanford's, have just ran into weird situations, especially the ones in Rome. But here, against CC, I think it's a valid pick.
And here's the thing, man. Looking at Onyx ID, almost every single person here has some form of dash to get out of a very sticky situation. So it does feel like Onyx ID, they're trusting on their own instincts as well as mechanics to make sure that they can outplay Onyx Philippines. So this is definitely one of those games where the reaction time is going to be highlighted by both teams.
Oh, Brusco here walking into that long side lane brush towards the corner. Kirk, vengeance on the 1 key boy. Jumps in, final slash from Kirk, not gonna keep him alive long enough as he gets drawn first blood on by Tlph. Onyx ID already on the board, the vengeance popped in, keeping himself alive as Keyboy starts up the turtle.
Good instinct by Kyrie, making sure it doesn't go in, and now Tether S-Right used.
Very low HP, Onyx PH, the duo, the trio gets pushed back. Onyx ID claim the turtle, and now they're attempting Grand Theft Purple. Final slash once more. Can they stop it? The Tsunami Slam takes down Kirk. And where'd the purple go? It's on Kyrie.
And now, honestly, even though, yes, Keyboy got taken down, this is what Onyx ID is trying to establish. Some kind of map control earlier on, especially giving over the goal to either Sans or Kyrie. Kyrie, even though he only got 2 assists, it's better than nothing, right? Of course, you want to kill here, but either way, I feel like this is very good by Onyx Indonesia. As long as they can get more kills, and then preferably before the Lord spawns, get some turrets, at least 2, and I think you're in a very good position where you can just out-damage Onyx Philippines.
And that's what you're looking for if you want to really invest in this sound macro direction that you're going for. Again, very low kill count, very good movements to isolate certain parts of Onyx PH's attempts at, chain CCs. And so far, I think this is going to benefit plenty for Savero. We know that Savero, if he takes care of himself and he invests in himself, in his kit, that he has this clutch gene late game that maybe will allow him to claw Onyx ID back. But what if they're comfortable? What if they're in a good position all game long?
Looking at the rotations here coming in from Onyx Philippines, Onyx ID, they need to be aware by Turtle 2, it will most likely be 5-man coming in from Onyx Philippines. So they have to make a decision whether they want 4v5 or 5v5.
And that's 30 seconds from now. They started up. Already a Tsunami Slam on the Kirk. Won't let him live, but Tlph, isn't that overkill? They threw all them's ults on him.
Hey, maybe. Onyx ID is secretly just Destroyer. They really don't like that Arlott.
He was in their ear.
Yep.
And it makes sense because part of the joke, you want to get that final slash out of the equation. That can change the entirety of your approach. Imagine being within retribution range, get hit by that sweeping ult, push to the side, and then suddenly, poof, King Kong steals it. Speaking of King Kong, Mountain Shocker revealing everyone from Onyx ID where their whereabouts are. The I'm Offended forcing the response, the Feather Strike and the Vengeance. The Fist Break trying to stop him from getting in the way. King Kong scores it, taking down Tlph as well, while Kyrie finds Sprint. Tsunami Slam onto one. Kirk flickers back. The break once more, trying to stop the forward momentum of Onyx ID, will result in a 2-for-1 trade. Make that a 3, because Onyx PH got the turtle.
Right now, I feel we can finally hear some noise coming in from Kyrie fans, because how long have they waited for him to use this kind of pick, using the Lancelot, dashing in and out, getting all those kills, and now he's looking amazing.
Too long, LaFell, too long. He is so comfortable. You can see it in his movements. This is that same hero that he's used years back to run away from an inevitable death that we all could have sworn he was going to die from. But Kyrie looked at death and said, not today. About 2,000 gold ahead, Onyx IDR, and the map seemed to be on their side. Again, this is just going to benefit Savero all the while. He's not sweating at all.
Yep, Kyrie making Lancelot look like Lance too much. And again, they're going for one lane. They found Kelra. They want to go for it.
Tsunami Slam onto the Ruby. Again, there's only so much you can do as a fighter. You flicker back, you were still going to die regardless. You were right smack dab in the middle of the circumference of that Feathered Airstrike, and there's so much pressure up top. Mountain Shocker used up the stun portion of that ult. Gonna push back Onyx ID.
And this is how you make sure that your far side is safe by everyone that can disable you, which is using the ultimate crowd control. Death! Just kill them first. So this is a good initiation coming in from Onyx ID. And so far, Kirk not having a good time going up against Tlph. And Kyrie's here, looks like he's not going to go for any kind of engage, probably saving all those skills for his turtle.
Sadly, the one way that the Arlott could have been good into the CC is if you're away from the lane, if you're fighting somewhere else, if you're using your kit in a different way. A Tsunami Slam, serving it up, putting it at the tip of the Feathered Airstrike. Sans wailing away, hits him with 2 salvos, but Kelra survives with a flicker, but he's out of the conversation for this turtle take.
Yeah, but again, no Tsunami Slam coming in from Keyboy, so they got to make sure whoever engages next is going to be good.
Fist break and a crack on the Tlph, forcing the Vengeance, putting 4 members down of Onyx PH very low, and 3 bite the dust. Savero gets a double. Onyx ID are running through the super family.
I gotta say, man, Farsa and Kali are best friends because they made the impossible possible. Have 5 counters on your side. I don't care. This Kalia is going to give so much kill or opportunity for the Farsa to actually be doing much. Right now, we're looking into the replay here where Tlph was the one that got engaged, but that Vengeance made it so that not only did he survive, but actually got a lot of reflect damage onto Onyx Philippines. And this iteration of Lancelot deals so much damage so that that kind of outplay is possible.
Back to real life here. Sans just pulled the Feathered Airstrike to try and help Savero clear this wave and possibly take down this turret a notch or two. And I just noticed something. LaFell, this humble skin on Savero's Claude, its blazing duet is deceptively subtle.
Yeah.
It has a very low visual identity. You barely know that it's going on up until you see your life just at half.
Yeah, but speaking of which, looks like another engage going in, but looks like Keyboy caught no one. Oh, an engage!
Here comes Brusco punching his way through his problems, through Onyx PH's problems, and now Kirk right in the middle, smack dab of 4 members of Onyx ID gets punished. Mountain Shocker plus a stun, not gonna stop Tlph's forward momentum, popping that Vengeance, keeping Onyx ID's momentum up.
Onyx PH has a tough time asking Onyx ID to slow down, to stop moving. They have a lot of crowd control, but again, all of it is being avoided by Onyx Indonesia because we're seeing them moving in and out of the team fight quite freely. And I would say this is more on Onyx ID having that instinct of dodging all those kills, where we see Kyrie just stopping in his own tracks, anticipating some kind of engage either coming in from Kurt or Brusco.
Yep, fundamentally speaking, Onyx ID have all of the initiation. Onyx ID have all the ways to start fights. Onyx PH, what they're really good at is anticipating and reacting. I'm offended, check. Fist crack, fist break, check. Mountain shocker, check. Final slash, check. So that alone is what describes this dichotomy between the Onyx ID and Onyx PH lineups. One is waiting, the other just saying, let's keep going, let's keep going, let's fight, let's fight, let's fight. Lord here, down to a third, a fifth, an eighth, a 10th, and it's over. A clean take for the Sky Kings.
Looks like a better engage coming in. Tsunami Slam onto Kirk. It looks like Kirk is going to get taken down. And now Brusco tries to make a play. It looks like Severo is still able to escape. Super Prince trying to get a kill onto him. But double kill for Keyboy. And now Tlph all alone in the front, trying to make some more plays. Kelra tries to get away. A good I'm offended, pulling in Tlph, but it still survives.
So far, so good, so great for Onyx ID. Taking 2 kills, suffering none. Plus the Lord along the way, marching down bot. The Super Fam, they can't catch a break again. It's in the nature of these lineups. Who's the beatdown? 99% of the time, it's Onyx ID. A feathered airstrike, plus another Tsunami Slam. The final slash catching nobody. Except for Keyboy, he was a little in too deep, goes down.
I like the attempt, but yeah, so far Onyx Philippines was able to outplay that, but now Onyx ID with 8,000 gold lead, they're able to take a lot on the map. The Lord is still marching in. It's just the first Lord, so it's not going to be that devastating. Plus, looking at the inhibitors, the mid lane still having that Holy Shield does make it very difficult for Onyx ID to really end the game. So now it really is about choking Onyx Philippines, making sure that they don't get any farm after this.
But here's what's scary, Lafel. I have to mention, Onyx PH, yes, they are a reactive lineup. Their comp would like to wait for you to try and engage. That's very strong on the high ground defense. It's lethal, especially if you're underneath your tier 3s. And look at this. They're baiting Onyx ID. They're saying, hey, look, we're ready for another Tsunami Slam. Keyboy, you want any of us?
This is kind of scary because Kyrie did a lot of damage with just the War Axe. Now having the Endless Battle as well, there's going to be a lot more burst damage as well as healing going back into his HP. Looking at King Kong, still respectable amount of damage with the Blade of Despair as well as the Hunter Strike. A lot of penetration cooldown as well as just raw damage, but you really can't compare when the Lancelot have 3 items here. Even having 1 defense item with the Brute Force, making it so that even if you do catch him, it's going to be hard to take him down.
Yeah, I'd reckon King Kong is about 1,000 away from finishing his... It already comes to reason that even in the mid-game, you're already hurting with your subtle blazing duet, your stealth blazing duet. What more now when you're a little more chunkier, when you can protect yourself just for a second or 2 longer? He invested in this, mind you, instead of the Wind of Nature. But look, the Wind of Nature would also be very good since there are 3 fighters.
I gotta say, Onyx PH, for them to turn things around, they gotta do what JP did and play like an assassin as you go to the backline. Either Kirk, Brusco, or heck, Super Prince, maybe even anyone could really do that, because I gotta feel like the moment you're able to stop that feathered airstrike, a lot of the firepower is dealt with.
And it's all the more easier. If anything, Lafel, they have great tools. They have the Mount Shocker. They can see where the pieces of Onyx ID are, but this 9K gold lead is just too huge. Kelra here, nice attempt, flicker, I'm offended, no one home, but here comes the punish. To Keyboy looking for a target. The already spent the Tsunami Slam. Brusco and Kirk hit with a curtain call. Brusco able to retreat, and Onyx PH sent packing.
Yep, a lot were used, but still, no one really died in that final engage. And Onyx ID, they're fine with that. Having 10,000 gold, the minions are looking good. They're setting it up. The Lord is marching down bot, trying to slow it down so that Kyrie can get his buff first. This could be an end angle, but like you said, the draft coming in from Onyx Philippines, they're actually very good at defending. So Onyx ID, if they want it, they got to get some kills first.
Onyx ID are just waiting for this Lord to come a-crashing, so they're managing the movements of these waves from mid and top. Not going to be fully synced, but at least that's a lot of pressure coming down on the Super Fam's base. Here comes the Lord, putting that bottom lane inhibitor at about 0 health. And there's a damage on Keyboy. Tlph pushing the advantage. Mount Shocker here by King Kong. Check in range. Final slash finds one, but Keyboy answers back in kind. Kirk very low. Kirk goes down. Sans gets the kill. And that's already one member of the Super Fam taken out of the equation. Super Prince very low as well. Kyrie takes him. And now here comes Savero holding on to the Blazing Duet. Does not use it just yet. Oh, wow, the discipline on this young man.
You know what? I'm surprised Sans hasn't gone back yet. He's like, I'm barely having any HP, but you know what? I can take some minions still. Looks like on ID, they don't want to stop. They want to make sure that they get this mid inhibitor. And now the minion waves, there's only 2. Will this be enough?
They also want the finish. Feather Strike coming in, plus a Tsunami Slam. Oh, the I'm offended, not enough to save him. Didn't even get to pull it out. Here comes the Blazing Duet. King Kong gonna fall. And just Kirk left to defend. Can he do it? Vengeance plus a final slash plus another Vengeance. And now it's over. Onyx ID take us to deadlock, 1-1.
It took a while, but finally, something that we wanted to see. And speaking of something that we want to see, I'm pretty sure Destroyer didn't like what he saw on that Arlet. So far securing only Sanford.
I can almost hear Destroyer saying, I told you so.
He might even see that after this. But again, to be fair, that Arlet was ganked mercilessly. Like it almost felt like Destroyer was there. Where the coach was like, I don't care if you lose, just make sure this Arlet goes 0-10.
Luckily, it worked out. Again, all of this pressure on Onyx PH and that half of the map was enough to stop him from doing anything at all.
And with this action-packed match, I'm pretty sure the panelists have a lot to say. So we're going to be throwing over to you guys, where right now Onyx ID has equalized.
I told you so.
There you have it. There you have it. Validated in his opinions about the Arlot. Kirk struggled here, but yeah, we said Onyx PH had the easier lineup to pull off theoretically, but what happened?
We did until we forgot about Arlot, man. The state of Arlot right now is not very good, unless the one caveat there, Sanford, like we've seen so far. But yeah, there's something about it. And talk about a contrast from game 1 to game 2 for Kirk specifically. Really difficult here, and I think Onyx Indonesia just really played into the part. Like every single time that we want to find someone to go ahead and Tsunami Slam, Kirk's the easiest. He usually puts himself in position to do that anyway because he's trying to get a final slash off. So they just really punished hard and didn't give any opportunity really for anything to happen off of that.
They just played, Onyx Indonesia, played for the first target, and they were focusing like, okay, we see Arlot, let's go Arlot. And the biggest problem for the Kirk, again, it's Arlot, definitely, and he got no escape. If you engage, one-way ticket, that's all. That's the problem. It's not about the Kirk playing bad, it's about Arlot all the time.
Yeah, it's and not even just Kirk, but also I think it was just, you know, it was nice to see the Kagura, man, but that also just didn't work. Like, it didn't do too much. Once that yin-yang overturn is done, then if you're comparing that to the damage or the value that even a Farsa brings, like, it's not comparable at all.
Yeah, just the combo of those two alone. As we mentioned, it was the Tsunami Slam, Feathered Airstrike. Whoever is the first target that you see, that's it. Pretty much GG for Onyx PH in terms of the fights, because once they lose one frontliner, it's so tough to sustain a fight when you have your Arlot gone, when you're going up against what Onyx ID brought to the table. So is it really just the story of Arlot
story of math?
Story of math.
5 math. Okay. More than 4.
Well, yeah, because like with one guy always constantly just getting picked off, then yeah, you're gonna have a man disadvantage. And if you're not getting the items and the flow of the game that you want on the side of Onyx PH, yeah, Onyx ID can run away with it. What we thought was gonna have a hard time, the Lancelot of Kyrie, we did not see that at all. He had a perfect game.
Again, it was enabled because of the way the composition worked, the way the lineup worked. It was all good for them, and you also sprinkle in the fact that when you're that far behind, even in one of the lanes, like, it's so difficult, especially when you're the guy who's like supposed to set things up. Like that's initially what Arlot's picked up to do, and if you don't get that opportunity to do that, like, you're an automatic dead hero, you know. Like, that's just the case of it. Like we saw from the KDA, he was just trying to force things up. But so this gives room for Kyrie to just flow through the game, and that's probably the best position to be in when you're playing these assassin junglers like the Lancelot.
And you know, one more thing, when you play with so much AoE composition, you're straightforward. You got one plan, and the opponents totally understand it. When you got the setup, when you can like take one person, okay, just remove it, and we got an advantage. And the problem when you got this AoE composition, the second problem, it's not only that your opponent understands what you're gonna do. If you lose one person, so your comp, like, it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, it just gets busted. It's like what we were posing earlier about there's a chance that the lineup of Onyx PH can shine individually outside of team play. It's if, funnily enough, they're complete as a team. If the 5 members are there, then you have an increased chance of, okay, you can get the Ruby doing its own thing, the Arlot doing its own thing, but you lose one of that element. Now you're forced to play together as 4 against a lineup that just bursted 5, and the Claude wasn't even there yet.
Yeah, you needed way too much time. And you can see, I mean, even given the loss here, both teams still really in high spirits, even pointing at each other, laughing at each other, and smiling. So, you know, I know when we got into this match, it was like, well, we hope to see some entertainment, some great picks come out. Well, I think so far for 2 games, we have seen that. Some might
Savage,
other
you know.
years. Yeah, you know, we saw the second Savage now of MSC. So I think that's the thing. But that's the main point is even for these fun drafts, even for these fun picks, if you lose like one of the main components to make it work, and this has been the case throughout MSC, then you're going to lose those team fights, you know, every single time.
Yeah, and I think we're also seeing now as to why Claude has been popping more off now, especially here in this knockout stages, because now that becomes your X factor, where in, let's say, 4v5, you've already, or let's say in a theoretical 5v5, you've used majority of your abilities. But then the Claude hasn't used his Blazing Duet yet. And even without the Blazing Duet, we know how good Claude is. He's just great with a sustained basic attack. That now we're seeing, okay, now you really have to consider Claude and how we set up for the Claude success. So that might be one of the next heroes now we'll see getting contested by
Claude?
these two. Claude, yeah.
I hope so, especially with Leo on the desk, man. I mean, I know sometimes it's a LaFell with the sound effects, but
Yeah.
I need those sound effects to keep coming through.
Also, there is one more thing that Cloud gives you. Additional monkey, additional player.
That's a great point. Yeah, you have your
Dexter.
6th
You
man
actually
is
play
Dexter.
6 versus 5.
Okay, so now that's one of our themes we're looking out for here. Simple math.
Wait, so technically in that case, in Destroyer math,
Yeah.
when they lost the R-Lot, it's still a 5v5. Right? Wait, no, wait.
Why?
No, then wait,
It'd be
what was it called?
6v4.
It'd be 6v4. Never mind.
You
you're
see,
out. Destroyer math.
outsmarted.
I like that. Okay, so
They just outsmart the opponent with the monkey.
so in Destroyer math, does the umbrella of the Kagura count as a player? No.
No.
But Dexter does.
Yes.
Okay, so simple Destroyer math here for Onyx came through with a 6th man Dexter in the hands of Savero, the gold lane of Onyx ID. And yeah, it's good to see that Onyx, despite the shattering loss in game number 1, it's like they stuck back to a basic idea of pick off one, let's go after that. And then maybe moving forward, that's what we'll see from Onyx ID, that maybe less on the fannies, less, yes, you can still get high mechanic heroes for Kyrie, but just get that raw damage that you know Indonesian teams are like known for dishing out.
Yeah, they like that very specific play style, and you know, honestly, we've seen pretty much all the teams kind of adapt to that so far with our current meta. I don't know, would you guys say that our meta because we always talk about this when it comes to internationals and even in our own respective regions, do you think it's actually established now, or is it like, is that meta, can we say, which is so odd because on the last day, are we saying that it's established?
No, I think it's still shifting.
Yeah.
It's still in progress.
I think we're in agreement there. I think it's established, but in the sense that everyone knows that there's so many options that you can go for now. That it's like a wide pool.
During this MSC, we got around 85 heroes, right?
Yeah, enough.
So
yeah.
something like that. And we're still in progress of searching, and the pro players totally understand. I even pretty sure that the coaches are still sitting and calculating, like, what should I do? This here, what's better? Like 1 + 1 is 2, 2 + 2 plus 2 is 4, etc. Dexter.
All the math.
Destroyer math.
Destroyer math. Yeah, happening here.
All right. Here's a little bit more math for y'all out there. All the way up until August 7th, the MSC 2025 chest, will be available for only 20 diamonds. You could draw the luxury reward, the returning MSC skin Atlas Rune Sentinel, plus your first 3 openings of the chest guarantee you Crystal of Aurora and Banner of Morale. That's not all, because up to 1,000 MSC coins could be yours too. Buy the MSC support chest now and cheer for our mid-season cup. Again, we are in the final day of the mid-season cup after everything that's happened in wildcards, group stages, now here in the knockouts. It's 1-for-1 in the battle for third, and with all of the crazy picks we suggested, all right, I think we have to find some stability. Stability in the EXP lane. Maybe R-Lot might not be the best route to go for, or if you're considering going the R-Lot, maybe a little bit later. You don't? For you, it's straight up just no more R-Lot.
No more R-Lot. Not in this series, please, guys.
Well, I was gonna say we might see him later for the grand final
No.
match. For the,
Oh, no,
the
no, wait. Seven, okay.
Chill out, chill out a bit on the R-Lot.
Just reminding the time. Yes, we can.
Okay, first pick for Onyx PH, I think, the YSS first pick was great, and then I think a little bit down the line, they just sort of lost it. I wouldn't mind if they go for YSS here, and then we can get just readjusted picks for Onyx PH. The last time we saw Onyx versus Onyx PH in a Moonton tournament was actually in the M3 World Championship group stage, where Sans played as the jungler and won 1-0. So that was during the time where the M3 group stages... Wait, no, that was a best of 2, right? Because you could go 1-1 if I remember.
Was it a best of 2?
Or maybe at that point you could just, it's just 1.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of MLBB since M3. So.
Gosh, I was gonna say M3. That's been a while. You know, I remember specifically watching M3 in just at home. Like I was just like I wasn't even casting it. I was just watching it.
No, wait, weren't you? You were already casting.
Was I?
Yeah.
No, okay, wait.
You just weren't flown out, and then we had the Filipino broadcast.
No, that was after my first season, yeah.
Oh yeah, it was after your first season.
So I still felt like
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, okay, so as expected, Onyx Philippines will still go to the Ascension route, but you just have to readjust, maybe a bit more stable picks in the EXP lane, and maybe not too crazy a pick in the mid lane. Like something a little bit more simple than the Kagura.
Do they maybe just take the Farsa? Like, you know, that might be able to work really well with the YSS pick. You can see the Gatakacha over here. What do they...
You know, I think that they could potentially think about and adjust the draft about mid. If you already mentioned, actually, Renmar, you mentioned today that if is going back, and they got nearly equal range. I mean, if you speak about the Farsa and Eve.
Yeah, could also be one of the options, and I think that's why Onyx rushed the Gacha and even the Lancelot. It's like they're already telling Onyx PH, we know your best options are either like Farsa, Eve, heroes like that. That will make it difficult for you to play those artillery mages.
Yeah, I mean, if they still want to pick up the Farsa, that's fine. I think Eve is very situational in a lot of cases though too, but the fact that you already have this YSS up, the Selena is gone, so they'll go with another pick that has found a interesting place in the current meta. Like Jushin still works, but there are obviously teams that utilize it better now that you have a Phoveus too that can be that, you know, front line. I feel like usually that's the case anyway, unless you have a really hard start to the game, but Phoveus naturally is going to be tanky enough, but then you get the Lapu Lapu on the other side from Monica Indonesia.
And it's signature pick for Kirk, actually. If you speak about Phoveus, he really likes it. He performs well.
Oh, we saw.
Yeah. Oh, but it's going to be an Onyx ID. So it's going to be in the hands of Tlph. Kirk will get the Phoveus, which struggled last night. But let's see how well it will fare this time around. Good thing that they banned the CC though.
Yeah.
I think that's what they were already seeing. So both teams are in agreement. Now Onyx PH knows that Onyx will shine really well with artillery mages. I think it's going to be up to them if they're going to ban either the Kadita or the Farsa. That will most likely end up in the hands of Sans.
I think maybe just take out the Farsa here for the last ban. I think maybe since we saw them ban out the Kadita before, there it is.
Yeah,
so they banned that out. Maybe just better to go ahead and handle the Kadita if they decide to go ahead and draft it for Onyx Indonesia. And then over on the other side, you see that Baksha was taken out. So interesting, because the YSS being over there. What could they pick up for a roam then for Onyx Philippines here?
I think we should predict something for the Onyx Indonesia, because right now they are on the first iteration, and actually I don't expect Kadita. I'll explain why. In the previous draft it was okay because of the Kalea, so you got the composition, but here like catch only with Gatot, that's all. So yeah, and here Kimi.
Another hero that you're not a big fan of here, Destroyer.
It's okay. I'm not a big fan, but it depends. It depends on the trio. Trio with Lancelot and Gatatkacha, you got good push potential for the mid lane. You can rotate fast, no problems here, but you need time. And here's a question to the Onyx Philippines. You need something super fast, and like for skipping lanes and initiation.
So Cho, yeah. Yeah, I feel like Cho's probably going to be the perfect pick here. Answering Nice's question earlier, the roam pick for Brusco. They go for the Harith, but they're not going for the Cho.
Why?
Oh, no.
Well, it is in a different lane at least.
Yeah, it's in the roam, but...
This is where I usually play the
I wanted to mention that they took Phobius, so there is no chance that Onyx Indonesia gonna take her lot. And I was so happy. And Onyx Philippines, Destroyer. Here we go again.
I think this is good, though. I think it works better. Arlot in the roam, at least in this case, you could go ahead and play into the Harith, and I think that's why those last picks were held on to, because you could either, and this is always the case with Arlot, it's always a 50-50, because you can use it to set things up really well for the Zaman Force, or it could end up just putting yourself in a bad position, but you're also covering it with a Phobius, so you have that there. You can see the last pick is the Granger, though, from Onyx Indonesia.
But you see, the thing is, I was making the point that they need, Onyx Philippines need a strong triple mid, and they take a lot.
I have faith. I'm having faith, man.
All right. You got Destroyer Knights who torn apart in the center of the map. If the Arlot will just be a great combo with the YSS and the Zhu Sin. Let's see, because Onyx have set up for their Kimi and Granger really well. Leo, Tlph, let's go.
There's a lot to say about this one. I love the Kimi Granger, and you know what? We might need Medic for Destroyer because there's going to be a lot of Arlot in this matchup. But welcome back. This is game number 3, this best of 5 between Onyx ID going up against Onyx Philippines, the third place match. We're starting it here, and again, assassin versus assassin between King Kong and Kyrie.
You know what, LaFell, I'm worried about our friend from the ECA because he's this close to getting an aneurysm, but I think that is from a lack of faith.
He's molding.
He's molding, but I see what Onyx Beach are getting to here. This is Brusco now. Did you see how Brusco played on the Badang game number 1? Look at this, he's very low. Could have taken down Keyboy. He's down on 5th of his health. Super Prince threatening the kill on the Sans. The choke on the Keyboy. King Kong coming in with an early rotation too. Might even score the Little Wanderer. That's a technical knockout on Brusco, but hey, that's the cost of getting aggressive early on.
And right now, Keyboy already using the Revitalize, make sure that San stays in lane, but now looks like King Kong goes in.
Whoop! Flicker's already spent with a choke slam, taking down the Gila one.
I gotta say, these mid laners are playing like EXP laners, trying to trade as much as they can, and so far, Onyx Philippines is on top. King Kong very patient to stay in the mid lane to make sure a gank actually happens.
So here's a quick look at the emblems, trying to understand where these teams are coming from, how they built their heroes. How often does this happen? Concussive blast on the Phobius. He wants to clear quick and leave.
I mean, look at that. He even has the thrill. So kind of wants to win the lane, kind of, making sure that there's a bit more damage than you would expect, I guess. Yeah, looking at how the map is looking like, even with Onyx Philippines winning that mid lane, so far it doesn't translate too much, which is good for Onyx Indonesia, because at this point I kind of feel like, if possible, they do want to play for that turtle. The difference is, this time without the Kalia, the setup isn't going to be as easy, comparing the Kalia as well to Gapakacha.
Yep, there's more steps for Onyx ID to find success. Now Onyx PH first to the scene. looking for that choke on a Keyboy. Kirk putting him up. The bravest fighter set in already. Tlph ready to go. Throwing hands, or should I say great swords, into the back line. King Kong looking for that traceless, and the successful retribution coming in from the Sigma jungler. Tlph pushing the advantage. Look at this, they're crossing the threshold. Crimson Beacon finds Sans, finds another. Keyboy forces a revitalize, but it's not going to be enough. The Tlph squad are way too deep to find nothing. They take down Keyboy.
This is the consequences of dying early as a mid laner. You don't get that level 4 on time. And that caused them to lose. But hey, Tlph trying to get something back, getting a kill. And it looks like he's able to escape, no problem.
They did not expect a rogue Lapu-Lapu to be waiting for them in the bush. And it's Kirk who gets the worst of it. Bottom lane, we haven't really talked about this much. Again, you give Kelra and Savero space. You don't know what you're cooking with. Kairi going for that small camp attempt, and now they're crossing over. Oh no, Super Prince is a little too deep. He does have a flicker. Almost bumped into the wall. Gets away with it though. No one's watching.
Yep. Overall, a lot of attempts coming in from both teams, but nothing super successful just yet. So definitely got to look at those timers on those flickers, especially, which also in my opinion, Kirk kind of used the flicker very early in the previous turtle fight, but again, not punished, so overall still looking pretty good. Savero having that Hunter Strike, it does mean, oh, hold on, Final Flash.
And it starts. The Mountain Shocker's thrown out. Oh, but Brusco misplaced himself. Used the flicker, but no one caught with the Final Slash. They put him where they wanted to be. Onyx ID are at least cutting it close, 2-2.
But we can definitely see Onyx TH, the idea is really trying to shut down Sans as much as they can. Because how many times have they ganked mid? At this point, it looks personal.
Yep, this is the same situation that they found themselves in Game 1. Again, we're not used to Sans being forced to play reactively, to be on the back foot, and this seems to be the play for the Super Fam. Now Savero put down a half health. This is where the turtle is going to be spawning, so this is hitting two birds with one stone, pressuring the gold lane and starting up early. Keyboy, the middle of 3 here. Red Revitalize already used. Brusco down to 5th of his health, and the Mount Shocker. Keyboy doesn't want to catch the tail end of that stun. In comes Tlph, uses his ult, finds Brusco into the back line there, and he is still alive. Spellbound going to keep him up. Keyboy, defensive AOG. Kelra unable to stop Kairi from scoring the second turtle. Keyboy might go down here. The captain of the Sky Kings fall.
A bit messy coming in from both teams, but again, we see the idea coming in from Onyx Indonesia. Doesn't matter who, as long as it's Arlet, we got to take him down. And I got to say, Leo, the fact that Sans has been targeted so much, I blame Savero. He's so ungankable that you just got to go mid. Going to the EXP is going to be difficult going up against this Lapu-Lapu. So, you know, Savero's so good that Sans has to take the hit for it.
I agree with you, because the only reason why King Kong and Kelra tried in the bottom lane because it was free. They already have the turtle there anyways, but regardless, they would not waste time to try and take down Savero. So this is the best Tlph can do, is to just check what's going on with Savero, lest they will still continue to try pressure Sans. Sans jumping up, forcing a flicker from Super Prince. Now the response, do they know this is 4? Yes, they do know it's 4, and it's still worth it. Keyboy, revitalized already. Final Slash hits 2, displacing Sans, but Keyboy might bite it here. Looking for the damage, AOG. Between these 3 from Tlph, there's really nothing going on. Instead, it does buy time and space for Kelra to push, though. Down bottom, that's the first taken down. Zaman force drop to push Savero back.
At this point, I'm pretty sure Kelra is a bit annoyed because it's not trading with Savero. Savero's playing very, very safe.
Fight me!
Fight me! Come on, man! You're a Granger! You know how to use this hero. But yeah, looking at the fight, looks like Keyboy was trying really hard to bait out as many skills as possible coming in from Onyx Philippines and then just threading the needle with AOG. Looking at the gold difference here, not a lot of gold difference when we're looking at gold. The biggest difference is in the jungle, but this is the thing about Yi Sun-shin. Just farm up very, very fast, and he's using it to his advantage.
The meta may change, but players' habits do not. King Kong keeping up his jungling pattern and his speed even in August of 2025. Final turtle spawns, lower quarter, here we go. Tlph, major presence here. Bush control here from Brusco, missing The flicker spent in already. Keyboy splitting up Super Prince and King Kong. Tlph scores. How that happens? Up and force by Kelra. Pushing back Keyboy, Sans, and Kyrie, but it's not enough. They're compromised. Brusco falls. They're a man down. AOG, Keyboy splitting up the rest of Onyx PH. Down goes Prince. Nothing for the M6 World Champions there, and that turtle take goes all to the Sky Kings.
Tlph is amazing at splitting up families, man, because he makes sure that there's no 5v5 team fights. He goes to the back line, makes you choose who do you want to deal with, everyone else or just me?
That doesn't sound as good as it looks, but Tlph is doing God's work for the Indonesian champions here. And there's just not him doing that. Keyboy too. Look at this late entry AOG coming in. And there it is. Oh, masterful. Onyx PH really had no business being deep into that fight the way they were.
Yeah, this is a good way for Onyx Indonesia to approach this team fight, which is just making sure it's not a 5v5. Don't make it honest. Make it so that you got to choose who you got to deal with. And we got a lot to deal with here. Onyx ID still 1,000 gold ahead. Good at going up against Onyx Philippines, but again, looking at their damage dealers, looking at Kelra as well as King Kong, they're in a very good position to get back into this game.
Yep. If anything, King Kong is in a more beneficial spot. Keyboy here, unable to pop the AOG to be able to retreat. King Kong is just going to farm. King Kong is just going to farm. The fact that Savero denied a lot of fights from Kelra, maybe that's what made the 500 gold difference, but the Super Fam ain't sweating it. The Super Fam ain't sweating it. Onyx ID are looking for their wins, licking their wounds. They've lost the 1,000 gold lead. I don't know where to find it next, because to be able to split up a family, right, as you so eloquently put it,
yes,
the family has to be together. But look at this now. Onyx PH are actually across the map. They're spread out.
Yeah, and the fact that King Kong, I feel like Keyboy really hold on. Looks like Kirk got caught.
And Kirk is gonna go down here. Savero gets the kill. Zaman Force spent in by Kelra, dash it through, and Sans gets bitten down. Perfect chrono vision. Now Keyboy left to the dogs here, and by the dogs I mean the Filipino porcupines. 2 for 1 the trade. Onyx PH come out on top.
Amazing Mount Shocker coming in from King Kong, stunning 2. And I was about to say, I kind of feel like Onyx ID, they're miscalculating the amount of damage that Yisun Shin could do, because the last time they saw him, it was just a 100 strike. But now he has a BOD as well. Look into the mid lane here. Look at how Yisun Shin, King Kong enters the fight. Flicker used and then getting to both Sans, as well as Savero got caught. Purify a little bit too late. I can't blame them. Who would have saw that coming?
Also, immaculate positioning on Kelra. He was fighting between a bush, a wall, and the other half of the map that belonged to Onyx ID, and he made it work. Great, great positioning. That's what scored the Free Lord for Onyx PH. And now the map will work itself up to become in blue. Super Fritz pushing back all 5 members of Onyx ID. Now it's their turn to pull an Indonesian ube.
Yeah, but right now, Onyx ID, they have a good way to clear the Lord. Mount Shocker used. They're waiting for a position. Oh, the crit miss!
Amazing placement! They cordoned off all of Onyx ID behind that tier 2 up top. Super Fritz, Crimson, Beacon, and Flicker deep into Onyx ID's base. Worth it. All is worth it. 3 for 1 plus this charge on the inhibitor. Onyx PH, a blitzkrieg up top.
I gotta say, I didn't see that one coming, because I thought the Dark Wave missed with the Flicker, but they made it work, and now the inhibitor up top is destroyed. Looks like the second tier turret down bottom is gonna follow suit. And if it doesn't get any worse, Kelra here now having that Holy Crystal. It's gonna be a lot of damage that Onyx ID has to chunk through, and now Onyx ID, they don't even have a good way to actually initiate a fight. It's so different between Agato Kacha as well as Kalia. Kalia, you almost don't have to think about it. Just press your ult, whoever's there, you just go with it.
There's a lot of foresight involved if you're playing the Gatot. One of the main differences is at least there's a defensive aspect of Gatot, not so much for Kalia. Looking at the items right now, you know that a Harith is ahead when it doesn't build the book. Kelra went straight for the Holy Crystal, went straight for the Scythe, went straight for the Feather. And Harith means be happy. Like, Kelra is making your hero once more worth it, because there was a time in the past month when Harith was totally useless.
With that said, we got to look. No real gold difference between the gold laners. Only about, like, what, 100, 200. So Zavero is still farming up very, very well. And a reverse situation between King Kong as well as Kyrie, because now Kyrie is the one with 2 items, and King Kong is the one with 3. And the thing about a Yi Sun-shin is that you skill very, very well. So, yeah, definitely a much different position now. Onyx PH against Onyx ID. They really got to respect King Kong here because Yi Sun-shin is deceptively strong.
Yep. Very high macro utility. Very good damage burst if you have good positioning. Picks up the Malefic gun, rather roar here. Able to shred right through even Tlph or Keyboy. I also like how Zavero now has the Sea Halberd. So he can even pierce through Kelra shields, even super fences, because those are what make the difference between a fight that ends well for Onyx ID or a fight that just ends, period.
I gotta tell you, Leo, if I'm Onyx ID, this is so difficult because at this point I don't know who to target because everyone's so slippery. Kelra slippery, Super Prince slippery, King Kong slippery. It's not that you don't want to catch. The question is how?
Oh, fight breaks out, forces Super Prince to go defensively. King Kong gets shut down by Kyrie. That's a lot of damage spread out through the Super Fam, and they split him up again. That seems to be the key here. Kelra dancing through the Diamond Force. Oh, does not stand long enough. Kyrie gets a triple. Brusco and Kirk the only ones left. Onyx PH have gotten denied their front line. Once again, the banana split works out for Onyx ID as they claim a Lord.
I was wondering who are they gonna target. They were decisive. Go for King Kong first, followed by Super Prince. And then when Kelra's all alone, you deal with him then. Split up the team fight and being decisive. Gotta give a big heads up to Tlph. He went for the first engage and it worked out well.
He's so good at splitting up the Super family.
That's how you deal with family. You split them up. But now, yeah, looking back at this replay, oh, it almost looks like they're doing a magic trick. Like, hey, everyone, look at Tlph.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, everyone else goes straight for King Kong. That's clever.
One might also look at it this way. Don't pay attention to Brusco or Kirk. That's what Onyx PH wants you to do. And they said, just ignore those two. They're way too chunky. It's useless for us to try. Go for Prince, Kelra, and King Kong. Down goes the Monster Mage again. He is slain. So is Brusco. The Zaman Force left there. Kelra didn't even get to use it. The Lord for Onyx ID still standing as it crashes through mid.
Yeah, super. Even like, holy, Kelra gets taken down. By Kyrie, double kill. And now they want to go through Kirk. Looks like he's going to get taken down by Zavero. And Onyx ID, match point against Onyx Philippines.
It's as if the lightning engage by Onyx up top was fast and swift. Onyx ID one-upped them in mid all the way. The Super Fam were just gathering their breath. They were still recovering from that split. And then suddenly the end.
I gotta say, this shows how much Onyx Indonesia understands how Onyx Philippines looks at the map. They understand how to make sure they don't have what they want. I like the smoke and mirrors coming in from Onyx Indonesia, showing two hands. Look at my left while my right is doing something else. This is an amazing showcase by Onyx Indonesia on how the Brawl server Indonesia really understands how to work the team fight. But now, with match point, we're going to be throwing it over back to the panel. Looks like Onyx ID, they're up a game against Onyx PH.
After two stompy games, we finally get an incredibly intriguing and close one where it was actually Keyboy in the mid who found the right targets on the side of Onyx PH with an unbreakable taunt that led to Onyx ID getting the Lord and eventually getting the win.
Yeah, and a triple for Kyrie in that one. But, you know, this is just a showcase of how impactful all the roles in the, you know, the flow of a game can be here.
I actually want to add that there are so many mistakes, like from both teams. Not mistakes, like outplays. Okay, let's call it like this. So, from the first time when Onyx PH, they just bounced back, and with the Mount Shocker, they made like King Kong initiation that was super amazing. And from that part, they started to dominate. Back then, like several minutes later, Onyx Indonesia, like Keyboy, just dropping down, and everybody is bursted.
Yeah, it's really good to see that we got to see, yes, with two explosive teams like this, the risk of mistakes can be high, but the return on investment with outplays, with great performances, is even more magnified. And I like how we got to see a back and forth of that.
I was kind of expecting Destroyer still to comment about the R-Lot.
It's too obvious.
Even when you throw it in the hands of Brusco, it still, unfortunately doesn't get the win there for them. But yeah, it was just a really good punish. And this is honestly what we've seen a lot for MSC 2025 is just these situations where it's like one team is, already charging into the base. They got the Lord with them. They still have the Holy Shields. But then it's that one team fight or maybe a couple of those team fights that can really turn the tables. And then before you know it, the game is over. You know what I mean? So it's like it was one of those cases here too where both teams had their own, power spike and everything else working for them. It should have been this case or that case, but again, one major play in the mid lane changed the course of that.
Yeah, and it's funny because if you could see it from the other side of the story, the side of Onyx Philippines, if they won that game, it would have been the same thing where it was just that one play around the major objective, the Mountain Shocker, all of them being able to set up themselves for victory. So I'm glad now that after, again, two very one-sided games, we get a game 3 that's back and forth that shows some of the best reasons why Onyx ID and Onyx PH are at the top of their game. We will be back in just a bit for game number 4, where Onyx ID are in the lead 2-1. 2-1 in favor of Onyx Indonesia, the champions of Indonesia, while Onyx Philippines, the reigning world champions of our esport, but second place in MPL Philippines in the tournament leading up to MSC. Now it's up to them to figure out how they're gonna crack the code that Onyx ID have found. First step, maybe, just maybe, take the Lancelot away from Kyrie.
I agree with that. I'm going to say take the Lancelot, don't pick up the Arlot, and give yourself
I agree with it.
Yeah, nice bursty mage, I think will set them up to get to a game 5.
Also, I would prefer to see from them the most stable roamers. I mean, like, you make a bet on the OE composition, but I don't like it. Make it more clear for you. Just catch your opponents. Like Onyx Indonesia showed us. Go Kale, go Cho, make it real. Okay, even one person, you remove it from the fight, and Destroyer Math starts here.
Exactly, Destroyer Math. You take one out, you're up one. That means the chances of you winning the fight are really good. By the way, shout out to all our re-streamers across the world, now being led by Setya Wanade. Peak viewers peaked at 217,000 plus and more, with almost 2 million hours watched on his stream. We also have Zaycast Gaming, Skylar, and R7 Tatsumaki on the board. So a lot of Indonesian names that I'm very familiar with. So congratulations to all our restreamers, and shout out to everyone like spreading the good word that is MSC here at the Esports World Cup. You see Coach Yeb and Coach Why Not actually just like, yeah, I wonder what they're talking about. I really wish we could.
The players are laughing too, so you know, like.
So it's a fun conversation between the two head coaches, I guess. But going back to the draft, I really like the main points that we focused on. For Destroyer, it was a stable roam pick. For Naisu, yes, take out the Lancelot, get burst. Was there other condition? And don't get the Arlot.
Yeah.
So I think across the board, those are the main. That's where we can anchor the drafts into, like those main ideas. Maybe for Kiboy and Sans, the main trade now will be heroes like the Cho, Kalea, the pick-off heroes that we know them to be really good at.
Maybe at this point too, they were the coaches were like, "Come on, give me blue, give me red side."
Yeah,
stop laughing.
Is this the fourth game in a row now? Onyx Philippines on the blue, right? So
I said you from the beginning. Just rewind the time and remember that.
Yeah. You know, so. I don't know, man. I guess based off the first pick that we're eventually going to see from Onyx Philippines will tell us if they change it or not, because even then, like YSS still being open, it's like, do they still opt for that? Do they still go utility, or do they just potentially put an assassin in the hands of King Kong?
Yeah, I feel like for 2 games now, Onyx ID has gladly told Onyx PH, get the YSS. It's fine for us. So maybe that's something that Onyx PH will think about, that, okay, if they're so okay with us getting Yisan Shin, what then do we go to? Do we go back to the Baksha in the jungle, or maybe even as a potential flex pick, first pick?
I liked your suggestion about ban Lancelot, but they ban Gatotkacha. So, a question mark.
Yeah.
If they want priority for themselves, Lancelot, or they still go the same, Yushin Shin.
Yeah. I think that's now the choice of Onyx to decide that. It's them banning out Gacha, it's Onyx PH telling Onyx ID, your choice. Either you're going to give us the YSS again, or you're going to give us the Lancelot. With the CC taken out, now Onyx PH has the choice. You see, Coach Yep is making a face like, I see what you're trying to do. So you know what? I'll take away a really good CC option that could have been a first pick for Onyx PH.
Yeah, so this leaves a whole lot. Basically what we're saying here is a whole lot is left open for really good priority, because, and this is a big one for Onyx Philippines, you'll see it, they're still going to go for the YSS. And a part of it, again, from last game is it's the YSS. He still is a valuable hero pick, and that's why we see teams pick it up early on. But complementing it is the other thing, you know, being able to complement it. And that could have also just been the fact why they went with those first 3 bans. It plays well into the game plan that Onyx Philippines probably wants to take. So now for Onyx Indonesia, it's wide open as well. They could take the Phoveus if they want to. They take the Lancelot, which is expected. It's been open for Kyrie now, and he hasn't had any problems with it. So, and then on top of that, that is the Baksha, though. Wow.
We already know the jungler and the roamer, so no flex picks. Okay, potentially Baxia can go explain, but most likely no.
Yeah, it's very rare
Yeah.
now. It's still an. I know even as far as up until like getting like in the group stages, it was still an option in the EXP lane during scrims. But yeah, usually it is in the roam jungle. So Onyx, let's settle on that idea.
Unless they pick Akai.
I love Akai, but I have a feeling these two teams don't like it.
Go Akai, roam. Go Baxia, explain. And Lancelot, go jungle.
Now, I'm on the boat if there's going to be an Akai somewhere. Put it in the EXP lane.
Yeah.
I've always been that guy screaming about getting more Akai, but now, I don't think we're going to see Akai between these two teams. So Tlph picks up the Pharsa. So strong burst, strong rotation, very good map presence for your mid and jungle. Things just slow down a bit with the Badang, but I feel like this Badang, it's sort of like a throwaway because Tlph can still go Cho in their roam.
Yeah, they could. So like they're both kind of playing around the fact that they could flex if they wanted to, but the Badang is the most likely flex possibility here. But it also, Badang so far has just been so good at disrupting a lot of rhythm and flow from a lot of teams, and that's why it's picked up. But you can see this early on too. In the first phase, Sans wants to play the Kadena, man. It's been banned out, and now he gets it in his hands to go against this Pharsa pick for Super Friends.
It's kind of interesting and not at the same time. From one perspective, okay, you got Petrify, you can engage, you can burst someone, but I don't see crowd control. I mean, most likely, Onyx Philippines gonna ban Cho. From what I see. Wait, they don't need because we got.
No, Onyx PH needs the Cho. Yeah, they would want
they need. But I thought about the Cho going roam just to catch the opponents and to make a combination with the Kadita. But most likely, Bucks is going roam. That's the reason. So they need to remove the XP laners and also Ruby ban. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think Onyx do not want to close off the idea again that you can get Kelra to pick up the Ruby in the gold. Look at them, they know each other too well. They're already just showing to each other, signaling to each other, I don't know what you're thinking, we're not going to block it. So I think a Claude might actually be okay here for Savero.
Yeah, this is also, it makes me wonder, again, the difference for the placements here, like we saw coming in this, is $100,000, right? So the coaches could be facing off against that too, because, again, that's what's going to separate the placements here for both the teams, and it's, right now, it's match point, right, for Onyx Indonesia. So for Onyx Philippines, these are two big picks that still need to round up the lineup. The last ban is going to be Arlott. So they don't
Thank you.
Hey, they don't worry about the math. They just ban it out instead.
Thank you, Onyx Philippines. I love you guys.
This is the biggest smile I've ever seen on Destroyer's face this entire trip. Someone bans out the Arlos, like, oh yes, let's go. But
now it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. No, honestly, dude, I'm on the same boat. It's like, you know what? At least now we won't. We're forced to see some different options. They did it. They actually go for the flex. Okay, they put the Baksha in the XP, and the possibility that you posed comes out.
You know, I thought about this, but then no. You know, they're too conservative guys. They won't do it, and they're doing it.
Yeah, I think
I like it.
One of the first few times, if not the first time, we're seeing Baksha go into the XP lane.
What if it's Cho XP?
Oh,
maybe. I think, again, part of that, the flexibility is the strength there, and you can really do either, depending on how this goes. But with the Granger now picked up, you've essentially got that double marksman lineup for Onyx Philippines. What's the last choice here? All right, they go Glue. So Glue in the XP, and then what would be the best case there? Because wouldn't the Boxer just win that? Or would it just be a dead lane?
I guess, but
just don't see that often. So.
Yeah, it might be better off for the Cho in the XP because it's a little bit.
Cho looks better.
Yeah, it's harder for the Glue to deal with in the laning phase. That Glue essentially is just like, all right, let me slowly clear my lane while the Cho gets out. I still think this is gonna be like a Claude for Savero. Unless they go something like Irthal if they want something mobile with good damage. But yeah, it is a Claude.
It's really hard for me to draft this even. I don't know.
Yeah, especially, okay, if you think about Destroyer math, Okay, 6v5 with Dexter,
But
glue. How
yes.
many little gluelets does he have?
We're on the same boat, bro.
I think I'm...
Somebody count them.
Yeah, I'm with Destroyer here. It's hard to read for this one.
Yeah.
Nicey, what do you think, man?
I'm on the same boat, but I'm hoping for a game 5, so I'm going to go with Onyx Philippines.
All right, let's see if we are going to be getting that game 5 in this best of 5 series where Onyx ID are in the lead. Or will Onyx just say no more game 5? We want to walk away with $100,000 more than our Filipino counterparts. Tlph, Leo, let's take us into this game. Yeah.
I agree that this one is going to be hard to read. Heck, this is a good time to be illiterate. And now, 5v5, who cares about that? Numbers! It always expands as we're jumping in to the series where right now Onyx ID is still in match point. It's on Onyx's hands to extend, but now Super Prince looks like he's able to survive with a slither of health. And now Kirk even comes in just to provide that backup.
Early technical knockout for the Sky Kings here, giving a lot of space for Keyboy and Sans to bully Brusco. This will some way somehow compromise King Kong's jungling patterns, unless they are able to clear him out. Yep, there it is. So it's now Keyboy's turn to actually check in on his side if King Kong's been cheeky. The answer is no. So the Super Fam are playing this a little too close to the chest, hoping that they still find a way to be proactive.
I gotta say, playing Boxia quite often this patch, it is a bit annoying going up against that glue because you don't have a way to really survive. And now Brusco taking a bit of damage coming in from Keyboy as well as Sans, doing a very good job, trying to have priority here in mid, but it looks like they're not really rotating anywhere. They're just making sure that Onyx Philippines, they don't go anywhere. They just stay mid.
Uh-oh.
Even King Kong, just stay mid.
Tlph put down about a third of his health. They are fighting closer to Kirk's turret, but you're right, Tlph, it is tough for the Box to survive. Here's a quick look at the emblem set. If you want to play Boxia EXP in this current metagame, there you go, just all HP plus Concussive Blast.
Interesting, for this one, Super Prince is going for pull yourself together on that Purify, understanding that perhaps he's going to be the main target that Onyx ID wants to shut down, and respectfully so, the Farsa is going to be a big problem in this matchup. The Glue having Thrill as well, trying to make sure that he wins out that lane. So looking at the priorities coming in from Onyx Philippines, it really is to get pressure and making sure that you don't get stopped by anyone coming in from Onyx ID.
Onyx PH first to the scene here. Turtle already spawned and Brusco pulling it ever so slightly closer to their side of the map. Sans cutting through. There's the Mount Shocker and the spread. Kirk looking to get the ride onto Tlph, finds the Mount Feathered Airstrike. Can Tlph survive? Gets out of the circumference of the Feathered Airstrike, rolling out. I guess that's how that works. And now Kirk left all to his lonesome. Gets cornered by Kyrie and Tlph. Survives via the spread, but only for so long. The Retribution, he's taken so long. He's held these two hostage, opening up the turtle take to Onyx PH. Tlph, was that worth it?
I don't think so, man, because that took forever and a half to take down one Kirk and to give over the turtle to Onyx Philippines, because we got to think about the win condition, and that's getting King Kong online as fast as possible. And in a way, they allowed that to happen.
And all the more it opened up the rest of the map for Onyx PH, because already you saw post-turtle take, Prince and Keller were able to rotate up already. So yeah, all the more, this is so worth it for the Super Fam. Onyx ID, they have to bounce back. They have to get their priorities straight, lest we go to Game 5.
Yep, but something to keep in mind for Kirk, make sure you manage your longs very well, because once the Lancelot has the War Axe, he's going to have an easy time to get maximum stacks on that War Axe, so maximum damage with the penetrations. He just has to be careful not to hurt his own team with those longs.
For those of you all wondering, longs are the triple OG name for Glue's Gluelings. If you know, you know. Kelra here gets visited by Keyboy. So this laning against Savero is going pretty well. Again, he's up by about half an XP bar. That is a byproduct of that early rotation post-turtle take. Mid lane, though, this story, the fact that Superfish hasn't died 4 minutes in and only popped his Purify once, that means it's going relatively good for the Super Fam.
Yep. I like that Savero has a good answer where people ask, how do you fight with Kelra? And he just says,
I don't.
You don't. Just let him do what he wants, and I'll do whatever I want.
Yep.
10 minutes, then we'll brawl it out. We see who's better. And now King Kong having that Hunter Strike will have quite a lot of damage coming for this turtle fight.
And this turtle is spawning in about 3 seconds, just in time for Savera to have cleared the majority of that wave. And the not fighting Kelra MO is fitting this Claude's farming pattern, because you just got to leave the lane, double lane, and then Bob's your uncle. So far, this looks like a complicated dance. Second turtle up for grabs. Kirk setting up the front line for Onyx PH. There's the Mount Shocker. Kirk only taking too much. The fifth crack and break by Brusco, setting up a turtle take. Down goes one. Tlph bites it. Train for Kirk. Down goes Sans as well. And now it's Keyboy's turn. Double kill for the gold standard. Onyx PH walking away with everything they want.
It's so good and so bad to see a Badang perform this way, because this is the thing about Badang. It's not about being tanky. It's not about canceling out those CCs. It's just about being annoying as heck, making it so that you disrupt your opponents. Whatever plan you had, scrap it. Scrap it all, because I'm going to make sure you don't get to execute any of them.
It was just about a year ago when Badang started to rear his handsome face in this current metagame and in the higher echelons of MLBB esports, and now he's a legit mainstay. Again, the fact that you can be on the losing end of a fight and a game and still find a way to clap back via a hero engage, that's doubled down by the fact that when you're ahead, you're so ahead. Brusco, despite just having 2 assists, have helped score everything for Onyx PH, has set up this 2K gold lead that makes us all the more closer to a Game 5. How's that for a battle for the? How's that for a quote-unquote just scrim between friendly teams? Great trade, top and bottom.
Hey, answering the question, who's the better Onyx, man? That in itself. Because even during the draft, you can see how excited the coaches are to draft against each other because they know each other so well. And I'll look at Onyx ID. They're going for more farm on Kyrie, making sure that he has the damage first. He has the War Axe. Maybe they want a little bit more. Savero taking a lot of damage coming in from Super Prince, and Super Prince wants to chase after that, but Sans and Tlph make sure that Savero gets out alive.
This whole don't fight Kelra can only go so far, because if you run away from that lane, you go to mid, Super Prince is there. You leave mid, you don't want to go that direction, you have Brusco and King Kong chasing you. So the map is shrinking for Onyx ID. There's only so many places you can go that the Super Fam can't get you. King Kong here gets hit by these kicks from Keyboy. Mount Shocker to confirm the positioning of all of Onyx ID. This wall set up behind a wall, forcing Tlph to go ahead and use the puissance. Not going to be enough. Serving up a kill to Kelra. A stack on a Sky Piercer. Make that 2. Keyboy falls as well. Feather strike by Super Prince, forcing a rough waves from Sans. The Gila can't survive this one. All this while, cheeky Kyrie going for the purple, while King Kong takes the turtle.
Yep, and now, honestly, Kelra is starting to become a problem here. 4-0-0. About time where he's going to be able to one-shot people. Now, even with the Malefic Roar, doesn't matter if you're building all those armors, going to get shredded down. Tlph is already not having a good time going up against this Glue. Now he's going to have a worse time going up against this Granger. Who knew violence could hurt this much?
And so far, violence is the answer. Onyx PH throwing damage on everything that Onyx ID throw their way. Half health on Sans and Tlph. Just through pokes, LaFell, just through pokes.
One of the biggest problem right now is that Keyboy does not have an opportunity to get a kick onto anyone. The fact that Super Friends having that pull yourself together with 3 assists makes it so that timing is going to be so difficult for Onyx ID, to the point where even if you extend this game, oh look, going for an attempt and it looks like he's failed.
Oh, the fist break. Didn't even get clicked yet. That was just a crack right there. So imagine how unfortunate it would have been for Keyboy just get picked off for free. Kirk looking for a mount. Not gonna happen. Onyx ID dispersing. They're doing everything they can in their power to protect mid lane tier 1.
Yeah, and Onyx Philippines is also making sure that they don't overhype themselves. They don't overheat. They make sure that they don't overextend, because they understand that in terms of firepower, they already have a lot of it. They don't have to force things out. If Onyx ID really wants to defend this, eventually one of them will go down. At that moment, that's where you can really capitalize and punish them. So I like the patience coming in from Onyx Philippines, but they go in.
My God, Brusco! with a full combo and a flicker committed. The feathered airstrike serving up another kill for Onyx PH. Who saw that coming?
You want back? I take back what I said about being patient. They just waited for an opportunity for Brusco to go in, and then Bob's your uncle. 0-0-5 for Brusco, 5-0-0 for Kara. Both the roamer as well as the goal laner having an amazing game for themselves.
Mad stacks on Keller's Skypiercer. I'd reckon that's 4 kills in the bank for the stacks on that. And now the Lord. This is a very significant 5,000 gold lead. Onyx ID have to play this well. They have to play it very specifically and carefully if they want to contest. Kirk and Prince alone are able to send Onyx ID a certain direction.
But now the Golden Staff being built by Severo, going to be able to deal quite a lot of damage. Not sure if it's going to be enough to really take anyone down, but they still have a fighting chance. Showing that Dexter inside the bush to make sure that they have clear vision of where Super Prince is. Keyboy probably going to try to catch King Kong, but again, easier said than done.
Dear God, Tlph down to a 1/5 of his health. Forced to play Sans and Baksha Unite out, looking for a target. Instead gets mounted here. The Keyboy kick, unable to pay off, but no, they're able to burst King Kong. Brusco goes down 2. A deceptive positioning from Onyx ID, able to take 3 down. And now Kellera, up next on the docket, survives. Suddenly, Onyx ID able to blitz into a winning position. They claim this Lord.
And now people are going to question, how does Kyrie keep getting the Lancelot, man? This guy's a problem because Onyx ID, even without that Lapu Lapu, in a way, they're able to split the team fight, but a little bit differently, where you wait for the glue to mount on the Boxia and then just roll on out of there, make it into an honest 4v4. This is a different way of Onyx ID splitting the fight, making sure that Kirk is a non-factor in the team fight.
Man, Tlph made sure Kirk knew that it wasn't him mounting Tlph. It was Tlph mounting Kirk. He took him away, you're right. That's definitely one way to make that 5K gold lead matter less. And now Onyx ID are on their way to reclaiming a majority of the map. Great work here by the Indonesian champions. Onyx PH, they have to recover. They can't let what happened in Game 3 repeat itself. That was the story of that game. It was all Onyx PH until a moment like this.
Onyx ID is also making sure that they don't get caught by Onyx Philippines, and this is a very interesting situation where the coach is telling Tlph, is like, you got a 1v1 Kirk, and Tlph asks, how long? And he's like, exactly. And now the Lord already getting chunked down, looks like it's going to be a non-factor, not able to touch that turret, so despite Onyx ID having a big lead, Kyrie is able to escape that one.
Fist crack already spent by Brusco. Didn't want to commit too much. Will go off cooldown in just a few moments. Super Prince, very dangerous positioning. Wings by Wings has the Purify on hot call here. Onyx PH, again, their lead has shrunken. Again, down to just barely 1,000. This is definitely a defensive power spike by Keyboy. The Twilight Armor, no longer is just going to disappear.
Yeah, I really feel like Onyx ID is making this goal lead look very deceptive, because you would assume that Onyx Philippines has control of everything, and the way that they just take away control, it's very interesting to watch. But Onyx Philippines, they can definitely outplay this just by making sure that they play deceptively themselves. I kind of feel like if 1 or 2 members just don't show themselves on the map, it will cause some hesitation coming in from Onyx ID. And maybe one of those members should be Kirk, because he should see that he is the one being isolated every single time.
Yep, no longer can they just go for the 1-2 step of Kirk go mount somebody and then Brusco walk up. You have to have Brusco and Kirk walk up and use your flickers, gentlemen. Use your flickers to try and find an initiation. So now Onyx PH, I think they understand that, because they're not just welcoming Onyx ID's attempts. This is also a trap. Onyx ID now forcing a feathered airstrike out of Super Prince. Keyboy threatening a kick, still has his flicker on the ready. This is all good for Onyx ID. The more time that Onyx PH allow for them, that's more farm on Severo that they're building up.
Yeah, and now looks like an engage coming in. Tlph jumps in, gets caught. So far still okay, but Sans! He actually goes in, deals a lot of damage, and now Kyrie killing spree goes all the way in. Kellera Still free hitting from the down low, but here look at the Joe Flicker and shutdown. Kyrie gets a triple. And now Super Friends having to use the Feather Airstrike just to create some space. But look at Keyboy. Keyboy's winning in. Super Friends, does he know? Does he know? And it looks like he knows now. Severo goes in. Wings by wings, out of there.
Not a problem. He had his Purify. A moment of hesitation. A slight episode of confusion for Onyx PH. That is what led to the triple for the Sky Kings. A trade for Tlph, all the more worth it. Again, if this repeats itself, they ended up with a different approach in the equation, but ended up on the same result. Onyx ID have now gotten the lead to their side, 1,500 plus a Lord.
You know, I gotta say, Onyx ID have been doing this, I believe, ever since the second game, which is they always try to bait out abilities coming in from Onyx Philippines. Onyx ID is very good at feinting here, making it so that they're in position to do damage, forcing a reaction coming in from Onyx Philippines, and it'd be like, nope, just kidding. We're getting out of here. Nothing left. You sure you're good? Now it's our time to shine.
Now a very, very obvious weakness in Onyx PH's game plan, especially when they're on the back foot. They lack the re-engage. What is the re-engage in their arsenal? Their repertoire used to be miles deep. Now it seems like when Onyx ID finds that window, Onyx ID just puts Onyx PH in a position wherein they can't respond. They're stuttering. They're caught with their pants down. Like, how do you fight back? That's been the story of these previous games where Onyx ID win out of nowhere, and now they're knocking on Onyx PH's base. Lord jumps on the bottom lane. Mountain Shocker already used. Onyx PH definitely on the back foot, losing that bottom lane inhibitor.
Yeah, and now we're looking at Onyx Philippines. Again, having a bit of a difficult time here to really protect their base, despite having that Farsa. Honestly, Onyx ID keeps forcing it out. We even saw Suns like freely using the rough waves just to get out of a bad situation after he got what he wanted.
Here comes Onyx ID, that is, feinting another engagement, forcing a feathered airstrike and a defensive maneuver from Onyx PH. Although it could have gotten so much worse, Onyx ID, they know that they have to play for this next Lord a minute out.
Yep. Despite Onyx ID basically having access to the base of Onyx Philippines, Kelra and Super Friends are still top 2 in the damage charts here. So in terms of damage, in terms of fighting back, they can definitely do it. And I believe that Onyx ID, they have to use the Lord, because getting inside the base with this kind of draft against the Granger, against the Yi Shin, against the Farsa, not a lot of feints will really work, because at this point they have more firepower in form of turrets. So Onyx ID, they're in a situation where they want to force a fight. Honestly, they can. And if they do, it might be a big throw.
The clock is ticking. It's Onyx time, definitely, but you know for which. There's about a 20-second timer wherein Onyx PH can force something. That's why they're rotating out aggressively. And there's a decent amount of stacks on Keller. Oh my lord! Super Friends spot Sans, or should I say the other way around, forcing a response. Magic Sentry used up. No one home. It was just Sans checking these rogue brushes.
Yep. Respecting as well the fact that Sans can get off harm's way. Make sure that Super Friends does not use the Feather Airstrike, especially considering that the Lord has spawned here. Onyx Philippines, how do they react to this? Because Onyx ID, they might go for the fake engage again.
So now the Lord is confirmed to have evolved. It has extra abilities, especially in the siege. And Onyx PH have made their intentions well known. They're looking for the contest. Friends and Kelra very close to the front line. In comes Sans, Mount Shocker. Onyx PH know where everyone is. Feather Strike, pushing them out. Lord at about half health. Tlph rolling around. What's the plan here for Onyx ID?
Yep, and now with a lot of skills being used by Onyx Philippines, Onyx ID is taking control. It looks like Sans goes in with the Petrify. And now Kyrie gets the Lord.
And the Revitalize from Tlph able to keep him alive long enough, but Onyx PH will punish the Lord for the EXP laner. I think Onyx ID are happy with this result.
At this point, it really is about who has the better trade, and considering the base situation of Onyx Philippines, like you said, Onyx ID, they're very happy. And again, Onyx ID are in the minds of Onyx Philippines, understanding how they think, understanding how they react. and using all of that to win this third place match.
And they even know what Onyx PH are willing to give up. And that's what allows Onyx ID to get these beneficial trades. They've been trading up. The Sky Kings have been trading up, ladies and gentlemen. They got a calculator right underneath that desk saying, all right, this is what they did. All right, we'll get away with it. Tlph for the Lord. Let's do it. And they're still holding them by the neck. 3K gold lead. The map is red. This might be the endgame siege.
Second engage coming in from T-Boy. Stopped by Kirk. No with Dragon just yet. The Lord is inside the base of Onyx Philippines for now. Looks like Onyx ID, they're spread out the map. Flicker goes in, finds one.
Feathered airstrike plus the fist crack, and now another might fall. Popping T-Boy's immortality. Able to fling around, and Kelra gets him max range. Super Prince looking for stragglers, 2 for free. And no additional inhibitors fall for the Super Fam. They kick out Onyx ID.
And again, this is what we were talking about. Onyx ID against the draft of Onyx Philippines. They can't really get inside the base. They got to use the Lord to really pull them out, which I feel like Onyx Philippines, they understand this. That's why, sure, get the Lord. As long as we don't die, we can protect the base. We're all good.
And that was an evolved Lord, mind you, that had the extra skills, that had more damage to improve and enhance Onyx ID's chances at team fights. And now suddenly, look, Onyx PH have left their base, turned the map blue, and are looking for a siege of their own. Feather airstrike coming in from Super Prince. Tlph taking a good amount of these salvos, and that inhibitor falls. What a disciplined comeback. Onyx PH able to regain a majority of the macro.
Let me just say, if this goes all the way to Game 5, Onyx ID should really consider doing something about this Badang, man, because everyone gets stopped by the Badang.
The conceal by Keyboy, knocks up Kirk, finds him. There's a feathered airstrike, the answer. Tlph on the Super Prince, Kelrad half health, down goes Kyrie. Tlph now catches a few stray bullets, he's down, and so will Keyboy go. Just Sans and Savero left. I don't know how this Kadira and Claude can do this, especially against 5 members of Onyx.
And now having the minions charge in as well, they're able to get an inhibitor. Is this the end? Can they do it?
Massive waves, in comes Savero. A blazing duet to save the day. It's not going to be enough. Brusco fights Sans in the back. Down he goes. And ladies and gentlemen, the Super Fam have said, not so fast. We're going all the way to Game 5.
Onyx against Onyx. The battle continues. This is a battle for third, but at the same time, this is to prove who is the better Onyx. This is a back and forth match. Like I say, for Brusco, if he's able to get that Badang again, he's gonna create havoc against Onyx Indonesia. So definitely something for them to consider, because I gotta say, good idea coming in from Onyx ID, but every single time prevented by the Badang.
Kudos to Onyx PH as well for the discipline and the foresight to know that these fights are worth it. A little extra on this, and then we go all in on this. And that was that last minute sequence where they kicked out Onyx PH and then went for the finish up top.
Yep, I gotta say Onyx ID maybe a bit of a desperate play for the final one, but now with this match pushing us all the way to game number 5, we're gonna be throwing it back to the panel.
Just when you thought you knew how this story would end, Onyx PH pulls it right back, and we're down to just one best of one in what started as Onyx PH taking this very first salvo in the series. Onyx ID going to match point. Just like the previous game, this game came off one sudden turnaround.
It was that one sudden turnaround here in the base, right as I mentioned it. There it is, Brusco with a great flicker set up there to stop even Sans from, maybe petrifying someone, getting the rough waves off. Could have been very different, because that was the start to bringing it back in their favor. And this is the trend. This is the case of a lot of our games here for MSC.
From the beginning, Onyx PH actually were leading. Then the comeback from Onyx Indonesia. Then again, turnaround, and Onyx Philippines win. I'm just shocked. That was super impressive. I really like that game.
Yeah, it's the similar story for the previous 2 games now, and it's just fun to see. It's always great to see those back and forth. Oh, that team's gonna win. Suddenly a turnaround out of nowhere, and this ended up becoming 21 minutes long.
we've had a couple games now to reach, this point and even further, but I guess that's always the case. I know we were talking about this back even in the group stage where it's like, some of these objectives that you see be the focus, sometimes it's not always about that. It's fighting for those objectives that usually turn the tables, but then the base defenses, man, there's just something about these lineups, and maybe that's something we can talk about later on too, about the meta shifting like we mentioned, or is it established now? It's a lot of these lineups that allow you to also turn things around when it's a base defense, because, whether that's 5,000 gold, 10,000 gold, I think is some of the biggest ones we've seen so far.
Actually, you marked a good point about the base defense, because also Leo and Rafael mentioned it, and it was impossible for Onyx Indonesia to reach out their main goal, the main building, and they just couldn't enter the enemy base.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah, it's like every time they wanted to end and enter the base, it was so risky for them to. Whereas Onyx PH had a glue and a badang to hold down the front line so that the Farsa and the Granger can just damage from afar. And as we can see, take it out from the base and put it into the rest of the map. The lineup of Onyx sometimes can be too hard for the lineup of Onyx PH to handle, because you have so many formation breakers that take away the front-to-back team fighting that Onyx PH wants. But you put that in the bases, whether it's in defense or even offense, it's too tough to deal with the lineup of Onyx PH.
Yeah, and a lot of those lineups that we see that do have trouble, finishing a game, that's why you need certain things to happen. And for them, it was to get a kickoff, to maybe utilize the Cho, because then it's even to the sense, it's like a Baksha you're going to see coming, right? He's just shield unitied up and he's going to jump over the wall most likely. So then it shifts over to a very specific scenario to turn that into an actual siege that can end the game, where in comparison, you have so many options to go ahead and defend it, clear the waves, hold the waves if you have to with the front line that we saw from Onyx Philippines.
I like our conversation because we don't know what we're gonna expect for further. It's no idea. For me, this series looks like, hi bro, delivery department, I want a hamburger and one comeback. Onyx Philippines, what do you want? One comeback, please.
Either or, right? I think at this point, either Onyx Philippines or Indonesia, because now throughout the series we've seen that a couple times in a couple different games.
Yeah, I don't know if my heart can handle another comeback-centric fight for game number 5, but let's see. Maybe that's just, we might just actually get that here. I also feel like at some point, maybe Onyx Philippines, or maybe even as the draft ended, Coach Why Not, Coach Hayes probably reminded the players, guys, our lineup is good at defending from the base. It's even better that they were actually able to take the lead in the early to mid. Because if this was Onyx Indonesia taking the lead early, snowballing, it might have been actually tough for Onyx PH to pull it off. So kudos to, in the previous series, Onyx Indonesia sticking to their win condition. In the previous game. In this game, Onyx PH sticking to their win condition. And despite it being a battle for third, we're seeing it, just how important this battle is for them.
Yeah, again, the difference in terms of prize money for them, but also like you can see it from the shots here. I love the shots that we get of the players, because we talked about going into this matchup anyway that some of the pressure, some of the weight was off of their shoulders, because it is this third place match. And even when they're having those close-up shots, you see them having fun, smiling, prepping up. And then essentially, it has now come down to that best of one that we mentioned earlier. It comes down to one game for basically $100,000.
Several days, and nearly all the time, we see full series. You know? It means something. It means something. It's I think it's one of the best World Series. I mean, for the semifinals, for the third place, and I hope for the Grand Finals.
Yeah, I think you could definitely say this is one of the best, if not the best, MSC we've had in terms of match quality, match length. The hero pool, everything. It's like like all of the previous years of tournaments we've had have just collided into what we have now.
This is the best for me. Like hands down.
Yeah,
I would say, like, even as a viewer before, like this MSC in general has just been like all the boxes have been ticked. A healthy meta, you don't see the same exact. Well, you see some of the heroes that still pop up, but you see a lot of variations in the draft. You see a lot of. I think we are up to like 90. I want to say like 90 unique heroes or something. I know before it was like 85, 87. We've seen a couple more pop up now. Turnarounds, much more fighting-centric games as well, but also still games that we've seen be low kill games for a while, and then they're just focusing on the first 3 turtles of the game. So it's like you have a lot of shades of all the previews we've had in the past.
I really like this MSC.
Yeah.
From my heart, from the bottom of my heart, I enjoying. I'm really enjoying all the atmosphere that's happening here in the venue, and special thanks to our viewers, guys. You are super amazing. Just because of you, also, you create this atmosphere in chat. I understand that not everyone can appear here in Riyadh, but still, even if you're watching online, you create this atmosphere, and thanks to you.
Yeah, and in just a few moments, we are gonna be seeing the final game between 2 brothers at this point. You know, I don't have any siblings, but if I did, I would do everything I can in my power to prove to them why I'm the superior child.
Even if you were the younger one.
Yeah,
right?
even if I'm the younger one, even if I have older siblings, and I feel like that's the energy that this series brings to the table now. Like, again, we've discussed, like, it's no longer about org pride, country pride. It's about their each individual pride to be able to stand up at the end of the game, look at across the stage and just go, I'm better than you. And I feel like these last 2 games were just like the evidence of that.
Yeah. Hey, man, if they do end up going to Japan, you know, if they do get that opportunity, they can go ahead and say that to each other. Whoever ends up winning this towards the end of it.
You know, from my perspective, they already proved that they are the best. I mean, they went to top 4. I mean, it's 2-2.
Yeah.
And the last game, no matter who's gonna win, it's anyway. For me personally, they showed us really good performance.
If you want to see some really good stuff in game, check out Dino Planet. It's our all-star event. Roar. We got dinosaurs. Put up the Roar song in your main menu.
So good.
It's the best song we have right now in game. We swear, we promise you that. It's only available until August 5th, the event, excuse me. And don't forget to do all the mini games involved and to unlock the free skin, Popol and Koopa, Proto Hunter, plus that really cute Jawhead skin. I didn't think there could be any more cute Jawhead skins, but they came up with another one.
Yeah, there's way too many.
Yeah.
There's like way too many good ones. So if you're a Jawhead player, it's like so hard to decide.
Yeah, I want a sick Jawhead skin one time.
A what?
Jawhead, like a sick kaiju-looking Jawhead skin.
Just one that's completely off-brand for Jawhead.
Yeah, and then still just have the little girl like driving it, but it's like imagine like a Robo Godzilla or something.
You don't need the girl then. I mean, you go to Godzilla.
It's not Jawhead if you don't have the little girl driving the machine. Like, that's part of the... Well, she doesn't drive the machine. Jawhead actually protects the little girl.
Yes.
Her name is Ailey Henry. I feel like at one point in my career, that's what I said every single week of my life.
Yep.
Just to remind people. And just to remind you, we are now in the draft for game number 5. Just waiting for it to pop up. One thing for Onyx PH. I really think they should not give Lancelot anymore to Kyrie.
Yes, absolutely agree. So, basically, you know, they could ban it. Or just let something else.
Yeah.
And when I see, for example, funny ban, I got a question. Like a question mark, a big question mark, a huge question mark. Why?
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. Like, they made that Fanny struggle, but they still continue to ban it.
I guess you just call that respect. Just like this, you know, Yeb's giving them respect right now.
Finally. Oh, wait. Oh, Onyx Indonesia first pick. Whoa.
That's probably why.
Oh,
I told you.
yeah.
I told you guys the whole time that him and maybe Coach Why Not have been making faces at each other. It's because of the sides.
Oh, there's King Kong
King
started to
as
make
well,
a face.
he's joining it too. Oh. Dude, I'd be scared. I'd be scared of that.
I'd be terrified. All right. Your turn, Tlph. All right, never mind.
He's got nothing.
Yeah, he's cool. It's cool.
So, returning back to the draft.
See Coach Addy pumping his chest there. Again, you love to see the vibe. Weasel Shin gets taken out. With the Lancelot gone, I think we might be seeing a utility jungle battle. Fredrin might be the first option here for Onyx ID even.
Fredrin, that's all.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Fredrin, others.
No, imagine if we just, throw it back to Game 5 and it's just like Fredrin Baksha.
Yeah. That might actually be the case.
Because they banned out the Lancelot, they banned out the Fanny. YSS is gone.
Hayabusa ban. Let's go till the end.
They banned out the Hayabusa.
They started banning junglers. Let's go.
Tell each other no more assassins. Let's go back to utility junglers.
The brutal fight for the like utility jungler.
Yeah, just like big, meaty men slapping meat.
Yeah, something like that. On the middle, like boxing ring in the middle of the map from the downtown. So, and the Drusin ban and the first pick for Onyx Indonesia.
Oh, it's not the Fredrin, it's the Baksha.
Baksha. So there has to be a Fredrin over on the side of Onyx Philippines.
I mean, they don't need to rush it.
They don't need to rush
it.
But so they grab the CC. Do they grab the Farce?
I like CC Farsa. CC Farsa will probably pick Fredrin as like their third pick.
Yeah.
They'll pick up their mid or gold laner now.
Doesn't matter. You can exchange. So I mean, if you want. Okay, never mind.
Kalea.
Yeah,
Okay.
Kalea.
Okay. Oh yeah, that would have been terrifying to go up against if you had like a Kalea roam and then a jungle Baksha. Your jungle is not safe.
And there is a composition again. So we see the CC and Kalea again.
Okay, we have a strong combo. Onyx, how are you gonna flip the script here? Because I think they've already settled this is gonna be a jungle Baksha. They pick up a Sans hero now or Severo hero. Oh, I think
Gatot catch.
Gatot.
Wait.
Oh, shout out to Ranger Emmas who completely whooped me in lane as a Paquito EXP laner last night. I was playing CC and it is not a fun trade.
So would you say that this is a winning trade?
Yes.
Or is it just in that instance?
We saw it several times.
Yeah, so I know Ranger Emmas is here, so shout out to you and your Paquito.
You know, we saw it several times, and this matchup, yes, 1 versus 1, it's better to be Paquito.
Yeah.
But there is the reason. You're playing 5 versus 5. And Paquito, it's kind of hard to position yourself in good. And Fredrin. Wow, I like it, actually. I like it. So, finishing with the Paquito. Yeah, it's really hard.
Laning wise, Paquito should be very happy.
Yeah.
Bigger team fight wise, that's when Tlph really needs to find his timing.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, the window for Tlph is paramount on the Paquito, but I guess that's just, in general, is what we usually see from Paquitos. And you know, the XP lane is going to be played a little bit differently, where he's going to be looking for those targets from Onyx Philippines, especially depending on what the gold lane options are going to be. We're going to see if Onyx Indonesia continues to narrow some of those choices down. You can see that Kimmy's taken out. So, I don't know. The Harith being up, I guess you ban them, just ban the Moscow, at least one of these bans? Or?
Yeah. I think Onyx would want to actually consider banning out both. Ban out the Moscow, ban out. I'm thinking Claude.
There's the
no, they go for the Granger. Because Onyx might have enough room in their lineup to go for Faramis, so they can go fast. Try to end this quickly, but then you need to take out a lot of the AoE.
Do you think that you need to ban Cloud? I mean, the composition again, to catch one person, Onyx Philippines, from the right side.
Yeah.
Moscow sounds more reasonable, and also I would think about, okay, never mind, they just ban Matilda, and there's decision.
Yeah. All right. So for people wondering why the Matilda was banned here, Onyx Philippines is one of the teams who actually have a pocket Matilda mid laner option for them for Super Friends, which is why Onyx Indonesia decided to ban the Matilda out. Because I'm pretty sure there are people wondering, like, wait, there's already a Kaleo, we know the Roam, we know the EXP, but that's the main reason. Kiko still making faces while Coach Why Not is facilitating the draft. Oh,
this is also a pocket pick.
Oh, this is so bad for the Harith and the Paquito, though. Like, even more so now, you were mentioning the Paquito will have a hard time with the Loyi around. Tlph, his timing needs to be perfect every single team fight.
I feel like at the same time, though, like, if Prince isn't careful here, he could get bursted down really quickly. So that might be the job. It might be like this game of who gets better positioning, who gets that window, and it could be Tlph to go for that. But yes, you're right. He has to be very careful. So how do you help that? You bring in a Farsa. You can fight around the Feathered Airstrike now. That's also a threat in itself. And then lastly, they're going to go for, what do they put in the Roam? I think it's an Angela.
Overloaded.
Angela Baksha combo.
Yes, but your early game struggles a lot. So, for example, Onyx Philippines, if they if we change Kalea to Cho, the early game would be just insane for Onyx Philippines. But even without the Cho, it's still their triple is much better than Onyx Indonesia.
Oh man, I think Onyx PH will still end up with a Claude for Kellera most likely. Moskov is an option, of course. Yeah, there we go. It is the Moskov that gets locked in. And Keep Boy on an Angela. He was able to pull it off as an Estes yesterday, but an Angela today, we don't know. How do you feel about it, Nicely? Real quick.
I like it. It covers the grounds, but you got to make it work.
Okay.
I don't like Angela Romer. It's like one of the worst options for now, and I think the trio of Onyx Philippines is gonna win.
Let's see. It demands a lot of mechanical precision to make this Angela at the center of the map, alongside the Farsa, alongside the Baksha, work out. But they could potentially snowball out of this, unless Onyx PH just shows why their lineup is easier to pull off. Lafel and Leo take us into Game 5.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Welcome to the final game in this Onyx versus Onyx series. Still Lafel as well as Leo calling the final game to see who is the better Onyx. Is it a one from Indonesia or Philippines?
What a way to wet the senses to prep for our grand finals. Then to get two of the best teams in all of MLBB esports right now to put on a clinic of what is possible in the current metagame to take us all the way.
We've seen Assassin versus Assassin throughout this best of 5, and now they're ending up with the utility junglers, the Fredrin as well as the Boxia. So prepare for a macro-heavy game here, especially Super Prince getting that Luffy again. But Sans and Keyboy having a very good burst mid. I don't know how this will turn out.
Not to mention the resistance of the Moskov in the hands of Kellera. So there's so many ways that Onyx PH can get to Onyx ID, but it's not like Onyx ID are throwing blanks, you know what I mean? They have the Angela, they also have the Farsa that can wings by wings out, not to mention the Baksha Unite from Kyrie. So already, I assume that as soon as these teams hit level 4, then they're gonna try to do stuff on the map.
I gotta say, for Onyx ID, they have a second winning condition, which is waiting for that Flash of the Oasis, and I'll be going up against Kirk. Looks like both are really heavily trading against each other. So now we're seeing the roamers coming down to rotate. They're taking quite a lot of damage, but should be fine here.
Yep. These early engagements from these bruisers in the EXP lane demand attention and additional effort from the other parts of the map. And again, how does this happen, Lafel, that for the first 5 minutes, first 10 minutes of every single game in this best of 5, the gold laners get a gold lane experience? That just seems to be an Onyx versus Onyx standard.
At this point, it's a gentleman's agreement. It's like, can we all agree that only four of us are going to play for the first 5-10 minutes, and then afterwards, if they feel like it, hey, they can join in. Speaking of, right now, Turtle has pawn. Onyx Philippines looks like they're in control.
Brusco overshooting quite a bit, forcing a flicker now from Super Prince as Tlph gets to the back line. Kyrie secures the first turtle. Brusco goes down, gets punished for his odd positioning. Now the Heart Guard, Tlph, he's in. That's 4 members of Onyx ID pushing forth into Onyx PH's jungle. Can King Kong clutch this? Doesn't have a retribution. Kyrie rolling up. The SOD by Kellera. Won't be pressing the button. They let off too much pressure, too much of a risk if things go sideways. If Onyx gets it, and that's a steal! Grand Theft Purple in the worst possible way! Sans, Gila Sans gets it!
The moment you think it's safe, it's really not. Now Kirk having to use the Vengeance, trying to get out of this predicament. Looks like he's able to get out of it. Onyx ID, they basically won everything in the first 3 minutes.
Brusco, quick slam here. The flicker, the tsunami slam. Not enough damage from Prince just yet. Keyboy survives. Kyrie helps with a puissance. It's all going Onyx ID's way.
Himself, now that Severo has level 4, might be a little bit more aggressive going up against this Moskov. Now looks like the Louis.
All right, here comes the diversion as well. The rest of Onyx PH come through. Tlph gets taken down. That's the first on the board for the Super Fam.
Yep, but still, I think in terms of punish, that was actually a very good punish because the minion waves were coming through. So there's a lot of EXP that Lupi is going to be missing out on. And it won't feel the pressure now, but it will definitely feel in the second turtle. To the point where I have to think, even Lupi is thinking whether he should join the fight or just push the lane. Try to play the side lanes going up against Onyx Philippines, especially with this Louis on the map.
And now suddenly, the gentleman's agreement between Kelra and Savero have to be disrupted. The turtle will be spawning on that half of the map. Brusco first to the scene, unless Kyrie has something to say about it. Kyrie and Savero first to the pull. Sans holding that fence brush. Now the diversion. Turtle at about 10th of its health. Sans helping burst it down. Onyx PH couldn't even react.
Good decision coming in from Onyx ID, making it so that it's not a dance. Just a straight up take. Now Onyx ID with roughly around 2,000 gold ahead going up against Onyx Philippines. But again, I feel like for both teams, the gold lead doesn't really impact that much because both composition doesn't really have a big snowball with that kind of gold.
Kyrie jumps Kirk, forcing that vengeance. In the protection of tier 2, Kirk will survive. Kelra throwing out that SOD in case his XP laner needs a little bit of help. Onyx ID, huge rotation. Not leading to much. I mean, they chunked a bit of that energy shield down bottom, but that's a good save for Onyx PH.
And this is what a Farsa can really afford you. A lot of pressure down in the early game. And Alcara getting that turret. So honestly, a very good trade coming in for both teams. The goalie doesn't really change much. And now the diversion just to give more farm over to Kelra. At this point, they're just hyper-farming Kelra, making it so that he gets all the minions.
That's right. Double laning on a Moskov with very low effort with the help of the diversion. Kyrie and Savero holding this brush. I think Kelra's aware.
Yeah, but at this point, Keyboy having the Flash of the Oasis, that's a big power spike for the entire team of Onyx Indonesia because it makes it so that the next turtle, if they choose to go for a fight, they're at a very big advantage because at this point, I feel like Onyx Philippines, they don't really have any anti-heal.
Yep, not a single turtle yet going over to Onyx PH. They're doing their darndest to protect this tier 1 up top, but Onyx ID will go ahead and shrink the real estate Onyx PH is allowed to play in. They've taken this XP lane fight to the mid lane because, again, this is a lot of pressure coming from Onyx. They're now building up to a 3K gold lead up to this last turtle.
The saving grace here is both Kirk as well as Kara is having a relatively good time, still able to farm up. No deaths yet for both Kara as well as Kirk. Super Prince as well, not involved so much, but again, not punished. So this is a situation where Onyx Philippines, they're losing, but honestly not by much. This is still a comebackable game coming in from Onyx Philippines.
Yep, this is a controlled amount of losses that Onyx PH are giving. Call it a margin of error that they're working with in the early game. 100% turtle take rate for the Sky Kings. Yet Onyx PH, they don't look so sweated. They don't look so troubled. And now in comes Brusco, looking for one hit with a Tsunami Slam. Zaman forced out of Savero. Curtain call. He's not able to dash on through forward. Brusco flickers back. King Kong holding the line. Ooh, that is an Appraiser's Wrath, forcing a hard guard on Savero. In comes one from the side. That's Lutpi looking for damage. Instead, Kirk gets taken down. Brusco follows Sue. The Super Fam are crumbling. They put in so much effort, and all they got out of that was the top lane. They traded 2 bodies for the top lane tier 2.
They tried to punish the Boxia's worst nightmare, which is checking the bush in mid. So many moments there, but hold on, Kelra getting targeted by Lupe.
Oh!
Lupe gets the kill onto Kelra.
KO.
That was an amazing move coming in from Lupe, but yeah, Onyx Philippines, they tried to use that bush to their advantage to get them, but again, this is one of the strengths of having an Angela. The moment you feel like you're out of the match, she brings you back in. And all this while, again, this is a very scrappy team fight, but the fact that Onyx ID, they have heal, Onyx Philippines, they have heal as well. It became very extended and eventually giving enough time for Lupe to get that flank angle onto Kelra.
Onyx PH may have overestimated their margin of error. Now Kirk is in trouble. No one can save him here. Lutpi gets another kill. In comes the rest of Onyx PH, but it might be too little, too late. This Angela Baksha is capable of so much more than just brute forcing its way into team fights. Again, concrete example is that last engage in mid. They feigned the Kumar bush and said, no,
Oh, yeah.
it's not us who's in trouble, it's you.
This is what my mom always says. Behind every successful fight, there's an Angela behind there. Heck, sometimes she takes the kill.
I need the stats on how good Angela is in MSC. It's interesting that she did not get banned here. Now the dance begins. Onyx ID, definitely the favored one. Onyx PH, I don't know what they're thinking, trying to contest. King Kong taking this long brush down bottom. Fair dare strike already. Lord at a 10th of himself, a 16th, a 20th. Ooh. King Kong with a steal! He's happy with what he got. He's just gonna waste Onyx ID's time crossing the long way, forcing a response. Onyx ID will definitely punish him here. But at the cost of a Lord from out of their nose, I'd say it's worth it.
It was 100% worth it. This feels like an AOT moment where they just ask King Kong's like, go and die, but get that Lord from us. A bit of a mistake coming in from Kyrie, using the Retribution a little bit too early. You saw that slither of health linger there for a very long time, allowing King Kong to get that. But hey, those are the kind of mistakes that differentiates 100,000 US dollars.
If I'm not mistaken, Kyrie just used, King Kong just used the first skill, didn't even Retribution.
No.
He was waiting for the threshold and instead made that nanosecond call to go, I will not Retribution, I will just use my first skill. And he got away with it. And I guess that does help the map equalize. It did enhance this initial wave that was coming out from Onyx. So yeah, this allows for the Super Fam to be a little more proactive. Feigning a diversion there keeps the gold lead at a manageable 4K.
Something to consider as well. Kara now has the Trinity build here. Diversion. Trying to figure out whether they want to go for it or not. Kyrie going into the bush.
Here we are.
Diversion is going to be used. Oh, they're bringing him in! Straight into the inhibitor!
That's dirty! Very well orchestrated. A freak of MLBB nature. You see the smile on Kirk's face. Can't believe they fell for that one. Kyrie forced to take a dirt nap from what could only be called an RG experiment done on the grandest stage of them all.
Can I just say, this, we can now make a compilation of every international of where the Boxia just goes inside a bush and then just escalates to become worse and worse and worse and worse. I don't think we'll see anything more dirty than that one. But hey, knowing the MLBB community, they'll figure something out.
You know what? After what happened,
oh, look at this.
To Kyrie's Boxia and M5, this is just but a flesh wound. It's hilarious, I'll tell you that.
It's hilarious, yeah.
No one saw it coming up until it happened, but now we know it's possible. Now you know you can do it.
Hey, that's a TikTok reel.
It's waiting to happen. How many remixes?
I think that will stay all the way to M10, but either ways right now, Onyx Philippines, it's like, yes, they only got 2 kills, but I feel like they won. Right? I feel like in this situation, Onyx ID, they're in full control. But Onyx PH, they kind of won. Now, looking at items as well, having the Garden Helmet for King Kong, making it easier for him to move around the Lord, which is spawning around their side of the map. Kara at this point is just waiting for that Malefic gun, and at that point, we gotta wait for Kara to make a play. He's farming up, trying to get that level 15, making sure that he hits every single power spike available. But something to keep in mind as well, Savero is on the way for... Forget the item's name, but more Spellvamp, man. And now the Malefic
Concentrated
gun
energy.
Thank you very much, Leo.
Yeah. This is just a fight waiting to happen. Not even breaking out into full-on dance. Kyrie force here's the poisons already. Kelra pushing down bottom. Zaman force here on Savero plus the heart guard from Keyboy. And they crash on to Kelra. Tsunami slam away. King Kong with the Abrasive Drive Retribution. No one hit by the SOD, so Kelra's going to have to take the walk of shame, but it's all right. Ain't no shame in doing your job. He pushed all the way into that inhibitor down bottom. Onyx PH suddenly have the map on their side despite the 4K goal disadvantage.
Onyx PH got the cake and eat it too. They got the inhibitor, they got the Lord, they got the psychological damage onto Onyx Indonesia.
The Super Fam walked into Onyx ID's room and said, Mom said I can have your bed. And laid in it for a month. Onyx ID is now wondering where it all went wrong because they had everything under control. They even sent Sans home to defend, but they still lost that turret. And now they're looking at a simultaneous wave push. All three coming in. A Lord down bottom. They're gonna lose everything here.
Game 5 is solid proof of why brothers always fight. And now, Onyx Philippines, if you look at the score, you would think they're behind, but look at this. They're almost inside the base of Onyx Indonesia.
Brusco.
Just fainting, not going in just yet. The Lord is going to be handled by Severo.
Oh, there's a conceal. Tlph thrown out a few punches. Champion stance already used. The knockout punch not going to keep him alive, but the hard guard will. But for how long? He's down. Super Prince takes him. So does the inhibitor. He goes down. The next stop, the base, maybe the top lane inhibitor. Kyrie eating a lot of damage from Onyx PH. It's a bare base for the Sky Kings. They have to defend.
And now, one minion, they're able to deal with that. But now, the other minion wave is coming in. It's coming down mid.
4v5, feathered airstrike plus a Zaman force. The isolation from Brusco. Use the purify. Severo is down. Kyrie and Sans. Keyboy 2 left to defend. Kyrie eating a lot. Hard guard keeping him alive, but it's over. The Super Fam prove to be the supreme Onyx. They are the third placers of MSC.
And now the Onyx conversation has ended. As of today, Onyx Philippines rise on top. And with that, Onyx Indonesia will have to settle for 4th place.
The Sky Kings have been flying very high. The internet could have sworn that this was their time to take home another title, but they fell. And they're facing their brothers. They fell again.
Being in each other's heads, we saw Onyx Philippines being at a disadvantage, but that one cheesy play got back that momentum. And I have to go back to what Carl TZ said. For you to be the best, you have to have fun with what you're doing. And I kind of feel like that play gave them that fun for them to find a way to come back.
And it's 2 versus 1 stone. LaFell Onyx PH found a way to have fun and show us something we've never seen with a hero like this, a combo like this. Plus, possibly, I don't know if you'll agree with me, they got into Onyx ID's heads.
Oh, dude, I agree. It got into my head. Now, I don't want to be using Boxia, man. That's a lot. And the fact that King Kong, one of the kings of the jungle, getting the crucial picks on that Lord. By the way, if this is not a part of Kadia top play of the day, I don't know what's going on.
It's gotta be.
I don't care how good the grand final is, that has to be there.
This deserves to be one of the top plays. Kadia, take notes.
I would argue maybe even the top play. You know what? Forget about Savages, man.
That was all 5 of Onyx PH. This was premeditated.
This is how you show you play together as a team, and you just make it personal on that one guy. And now we are ready here. Congratulations to Onyx Philippines, and now we're